previous race and their previous performance. Facebook page. We will be live streaming all the action from now, about 1:45 onwards until 5 o'clock presentations this evening. Thanks guys, over back to you and enjoy the weekend.
I'm on this one.
Race 2 for the Sharks. In third place,
Good afternoon and welcome all of you to the 15th Rumble in the Reach here at the very beautiful East Fremantle Yacht Club. For those who are not familiar, the East Fremantle Yacht Club is a very beautiful yacht club right on the water down in the Blackwall Reach area, and from the position that we're sitting in now on the veranda here, we're looking at a beautiful blue sky. The 18 Rumble in the Reach keelboat rates are warming up on the course. We're anticipating a start on time at 2 o'clock this afternoon, which is the gazetted time. If you haven't been to one of these events before, it's a format which involves 3 pursuit races. The 3 pursuit races idea is to the slower boats, perceived slower boats, go off first, with the remainder of the fleet to catch up, and it never happens. The handicapper never gets it right. Between races there is an adjustment, so if the yacht has won in race 1 in either first, second or third place, their handicap is adjusted, and then it's changed for the second race and on to the third race. The accumulated score goes to the winning boat, and the calculation of that gives you the answer. So very fortunately this afternoon we're getting all of this to you through Kelvin Haar, the Two Monkeys Company, and last year was the first time they were involved in this, for providing fabulous footage and fabulous viewing for you. All available on the YouTube. Please recommend it to your friends and watch it again later if you want to. Our team for the commentary, sitting alongside me as always, is Peter Kennington. Peter Kennington was an instigator of this regatta, and it's lovely to have him again here. Good afternoon, Pete. Yeah, it's great to have you, Pete, and we'll talk some more as the afternoon goes on, I'm sure. Also with us is Warren Erasmus, and Warren Erasmus writes for the Weekend West once a month, on all matters yachting. You can find him in the Outdoor Explorer section there. He also commentates with me on 91.3 Sport FM. We do a regular Thursday afternoon show at 1 o'clock. Our stats men, Cyril Eliopoulos and Clem Rogers, are keeping us honest by involving themselves in keeping the stats, so it makes us look good. And we're anticipating, as I say, the weather's perfect for it with a breeze in the southwest. The sponsors are always present around us, and Peter, maybe what we should do is run through the 18 competitors here this afternoon before we get into the start, which won't be far away. Let's start with Akaya.
Akaya, yeah. Owner Giannopolo Crugnali. Beautiful little boat. Easy to spot because it's got some nice colourings on the side, a bit of yellow and black striping. Its crew, or skipper today, is Paul Stanley, Benjamin Kahn, Lachlan Wallace and Isaac Bisco.
And our second boat racing this afternoon's Blackbird. This is a VX1. We have not seen VX1s around these waters. They're a boat that's been around since about 2013, sailed by 2 or 3 people. We'll talk more about them later. And Blackbird's got a skipper of Liam Prebrow, Tom Ostergaard and Zach Sprint on board that boat.
Yeah, next one is Don't Panic, RF89. The owners David Davenport and Ken Stevenson. Yeah, bright yellow it is. Pretty easy to spot out there on the course. We've got David and Ken on board, David Twisty Cunningham, Jesse Doherty, Charlie Ridey and Tim Cummings.
An Excitable Bull is owned by Jeffrey Oliver, and they bring this boat up from Albany. They've been perennial competitors at this regatta, sails with the family, with Caleb Oliver, Jared Oliver, Arlen Penn and Chloe Back. Chloe Back, some may remember, worked here at the Yacht Club for a while as a coach, and it's nice to see Chloe back at the Yacht Club. Looking forward to seeing the performance of this boat, and it's got a white hull, and it's the only boat I know of that's got horns on the front of it.
The Hella Skelter is also out, another one of the VX1s. Luke Patterson, Saskia Van Hill, Lockie Patterson, quite a crew on board. Quite a bit of experience on these boats this afternoon, Ed.
Yeah, no doubt, Pete, and we can't wait to see it all get underway at 2 o'clock. If you've just joined us, Peter Kennington, Ed Feathers, we're just previewing the boats, the 18 boats in this year's 15th edition of the Rumble in the Reach here at East Fremantle Yacht Club. The next one is a new player as well, Hero, a Viper, Oz 217, Scotty Glaskin driving, Grant Rollerson and Tony Johnson.
Yeah. Next, Hissing in the Wind, one of our Vipers. This is owned by Brett Sharp. Rob Senior's driving it today. Brett's working the middle and Steve Oliver on the bow.
And Melee is one of our Melgers 24s. There's 2 here this afternoon, Melee and Rhythm. The owner's Michael Kilcullen, and it's being driven by Adelio Kilcullen.
Now we have Protopia, the third of our VX1s, AUS 303, owned by Alan Smith. We've got Don the Doc McCracken on board. Quite a bit of experience with these guys from America's Cup, around the world race. Yeah, quite a bit of history there.
There's 6 Elliots at Royal Perth Yacht Club, and they're owned by the club. And it's great to see 2 of them down here racing this afternoon. RPYC 1 with the red top is being raced by Anton Janekovic, with Lachlan Hawkins, Tony Jones and Josh Till on board. And RPC Elliot 5 is being raced by John Bucknell, with Ed Dewig, Sophia Prasillo and Kiera Parkinson on the bow. So we'll watch out for those 2. Can one or other of them have the win today?
Yeah, the interesting win today, a bit more than last year, Ed. Made it exciting. I think I've already seen a couple of the boats give it a keel flash occasionally. We've got Rhythm, Nick Gray, AUS 655, one of the Melgers 24s. Nick, Mike Hughes and Ben Spalding.
And then one of the 5 Vipers, Steel to Breeze by John Park. And John Park, Paul Eddington, Michael Navarro on the bow.
Another one of the Vipers, the boat with no name, AUS 271. Owner is Kim Lunig.
And Tiger down from Nedlands Yacht Club. Jeepers, they come from everywhere. Tiger from Nedlands Yacht Club, N37, Blue Hull, and Gavin Taylor. He started in Sabo's age 6, and he's been around for a while, and this has been a perennial tender down here as well.
We have Turkish Delight, ES5, one of our local boats from East Fremantle. Owner Bruce Wilkinson. We've got on board today Bruce, Nick Holly, Mal McLeod, John Tissett, and Mick Geeney.
And Turnham Green, it's nice to see Guy Skinner back from N Science, and Guy has participated in Rumble in the Reach before, and Guy Skinner's here, and he's got in the crew Trudy Murphy on the main, Andrew Colquhoun on the bow, Andrew Knowles on the trim, and Zach Mellor also on the trim.
Okay, the last of the Vipers, AUS 216, You Get in the Bowl, owned by Rod Burdo. Rod's a competitive sailor here for a number of years in this event, and we keep an eye out for him today, I think.
So, Peter, we've run through these boats. In summary, there's a really fast boat, Don't Panic, a Bethweight 89. There's a number of these VX1s, 3 in fact, and there's 5 of the Vipers, the Viper 24s. Then there's a few strange ones. We've got the Helter Skelter, and we've got the Exciter Bull and the Turkish Delight thrown in. And when you look at the Elliots, although there's a lot of them, they're all a little bit different. The red and white ones are pretty much the same, but then your Nedlands one's a little bit different to the others, and we'll describe all that for you. Peter, you've had a look through the list of 18. Have you got any favourites for yourself, or maybe an opinion about who might be amongst the winners today? Just as you look through the list there, perhaps I'll do mine first while you have a rethink of it. I like Blackbird, the one of the VX1s of Liam Prebauer. I like Turnham Green. I like their handicap. I think they'll be amongst the money. It's hard to go right past Rodney Burdo. You Get in the Bowl. He's handicapped particularly well, I thought. And Rhythm won it last year. And if they can be steady with their places and nail the start, lightly crewed, but I think Rhythm could be back again as well. So I've named 4, and I'm supposed to pick 3. You, Pete?
Yeah, look, I'd certainly agree. Rod Burdo, You Get in the Bowl, is still in a good position, although the handicap has got hold of his tail a little bit. We can see the Elliott 7s from Raw Perth. I think
so put him on.
Anton might be looking to push that boat today.
So let's cross to Warren, who's down on the start box. Warren Erasmus, one of our commentators. So here you go, Warren. Yeah, Warren, we're just waiting to get Warren on. Here we go. Are you there, Warren?
Thank you very much, Ed, and listeners and viewers this year. Welcome to the Facebook Live. We are down here right on the starter's jetty. Mid-sequence, the red flag has gone up. We are going course 3 on station flag. And the preparatory safety boats are all heading out, and we have the crews ready to go. So really looking forward, team. So jump onto the Facebook page. Thank you very much for viewing. Also, the 91.3 Sport FM if you want to listen in. And we'll tune back in every now and then. Down here, back to Ed, Clem, Cyril and Peter up there on the balcony.
Peter Kennington, it's great to see Warren down there. He's very easily identifiable in that incredibly coloured shirt that he's got on this afternoon. We know that he's reporting to 91.3 Sport FM and updating them through the cricket. They cover the cricket in the afternoon. And, you know, David Davenport, who's out there on the Don't Panic boat this afternoon, he's a cricket tragic, Peter, and he loves following his cricket, and the Fremantle team is playing Nedlands and the Claremont up there today, so he's missing out on his cricket to come sailing in the 15th edition of the Rumble in the Reach. Now, they mentioned course 3, Peter Kennington. What does that actually mean for our listeners and viewers at home in terms of how many laps we've got of this course? It is a lap course. We sail it. The boats travel out to the east, and then round 2 markers out there, back up to the west, and then round through the finish where they started from a couple of times, and back into the finish. How many times, Peter?
Yeah. Well, we're looking at nearly 4 laps today, Ed. The wind's not quite as strong, so it gives a little bit of time out there on the course. We start obviously in the front of the clubhouse here, make their way down the reach, and they start to pick up some of those gusts. that we can see on the water there, those little dark patches. From then there, they at the jibe mark, make their way over towards Castle Hill. Then they make their way back upriver. It's always exciting, especially the wind building now. So I'm still looking at good 20 knots offshore at Rottnest at the moment, and picking up inshore as we speak.
What a beautiful scene it is here as we look at it with the boats here limbering up. They're limbering up. There's some on our screen and you're seeing that at home, and we can see more outside of that screen. So there's in fact 18 boats racing this afternoon. So what you're looking at there, if you're not familiar with these waters, you're looking out towards the west. You're looking towards the Swan Yacht Club, and down that direction the ocean is out in that direction, and then the boats that you can see going just around the mark now heading towards the east, and they're limbering up at the start line. In fact, that mark that we're seeing on the screen there is the outer extremity of the start line.
Yeah, the VX1 just came past that mark there. They're sort of pacing themselves, working their time in towards the start. So we can see on screen here one of the VX1s. He's sort of just crossing. You can see that start marker behind him. They're all going to come down to pass that marker to port, and head in the opposite direction from what you can see on the screen there. The boats are sort of jockeying to make position to get the best run at the start. You can see the first boat away here, Turkish Delight. He's you see there's Turnham Green. Here comes Turkish Delight across the screen.
There's Turkish Delight now. So there's a beautiful drone picture beautiful picture from the jetty of Turkish Delight. It's really easy to see. So they started on starboard jibe and immediately jibe across onto port jibe. See, as you can see there, all the sailors working hard on the ropes, and they've got a nice angle away from the start line. They'll do a number of jibes to get down to the first mark, and let's keep the camera on that now as we watch that boat head out. And they're now on port jibe, and they've got that asymmetric on the protopole out the front. And look how hard the sailors are working there at the moment. Hands going and adjusting the sails. It's really easy to see on our beautiful screen picture provided by the two monkeys here this afternoon as we look deep into the boat. And there's Bruce on the helm, just moving to the opposite side now. No, that's not Bruce, that's another sailor. That's probably Mick Genie, the tactician, and Bruce is on the helm. Back to the start here, back to the start line, where the second of our starters this afternoon.
We got the bull is away, Excitable. Got his kite up there, again, jibe out into the breeze there, following the same direction as Turkish Delight. Heading down to the wing mark, they'll tighten up from here, so we'll see how they go, if there's some action as the boats head down towards that marker at the top right-hand corner of the screen there.
And we saw Zoe back with her East Fremantle colours on there on the boat, and that's great to see. And we're coming up to another one now. So there goes the next of the starters. So
RPC
the third boat.
Number 5. This the two Royal Perth Elliots away.
And it seems like Rhythm's in there. Are they too early, Rhythm, do you think? But obviously not. So we've got the Elliots on the course, and now we've got the two Melgers on the course.
Yeah, we had 3 away there. We had 3 Elliots. The Melgies, both Melgies will be off and away now, and we can see.
So we're on the Melgers of Nick Gray, who won the event last year, and I can see Big Mike Hughes there in the middle of the boat, sailing with 3. Nick Gray on the helm, and that's that orange spinnaker, and they're on port jibe, heading off the course, chasing some Elliots down to the first mark. You can actually see the Elliots in the distance there. Achaia is the yellow spinnaker, and the 2 Royal Perth Yacht Club spinnakers. The red one in the distance is the Royal Perth Yacht Club 1 with Anton Jakunovic on board, and the grey-sailed one is being sailed by John Bucknell. So we're back to the start line again as we wait for further starters. A bit more limbering up going on. The next one away will be some of these Vipers, I think, Peter.
Yeah, we can see quite a, well, from the aerial shot here, we can see quite a group of boats together. A number of the boats all off at the same time. Achaia, Royal Perth 5 and 6, all off at the same time, followed by Melee, Tiger and Rhythm. They're having to work into that that first mark. I've had to jibe away to give a bit of space there. You see then sort of headed off into the moorings, and they're going to jibe back, make their way down. You can see the lead boat there with the red spinnaker dodging a bit of boat wash from the tourists. They're heading down to the bottom mark.
So they're at Mark 1 and 2.
They're at Mark 2 at the moment, and we can see the first Turkish Delight there, just sort of tacking, making its way upwind.
And there's a nice shot of number 5.
Yeah, Royal Perth 5 and Royal Perth 1, both coming down to the bottom mark, getting their spinners in, ready to chase Turkish Delight there. We can see on the right of screen.
So get that red sail down now. It's Anton Yutkonovic and his team on Royal Perth 1, just ahead of the grey team, but having all sorts of trouble with that red spinnaker. So they'd have to go into the bag now as for that trophy that we always award.
Yeah,
I think they're on the list already.
The Wipeout Trophy,
yes.
Plenty of contenders. They're having a bit of trouble there with their washing, getting the washing down. RP5 has got away clean.
And no doubt as they've run out of room there, tacked, but they're still behind R1. So this is a battle of 2 Elliots from Royal Perth Yacht Club. They have 6 down there, and to the left of your screen you can see them just going out of the screen right now. But quite a gaggle of yachts down there. There's actually even a bare-headed yacht there because they've got troubles. Can't quite see what that boat is, but
It's orange.
I think it's Nick Gray's boat being short-helmed. It's one of the Melgers. Back to the start line. No, back out to the head of the course.
We're still out watching the Tiger. That's Tiger we see chasing the tail of this group, heading up. We've got Royal Perth 5 got a nice exit out of there eventually, making their way back up towards the middle of the river. It'll be interesting overlap with these guys. You still see the kite flapping away there from the Royal Perth boat 1, I think.
So what we're seeing is the wind on the water. It's really easy to see, and we're seeing the northern shore of this bit of water, a space of water we call the drain pipe down here out of East Fremantle Yacht Club. And clearly you can see on the screen, and we can see from the very privileged position here on the East Fremantle Yacht Club veranda, a number of motorboats, lots of traffic for the boats to contend with. And one of the ones we think will do well this afternoon is Oz 303.
Yeah, Protopia.
Protopia of Alan Smith and the Doc, Don McCracken. They're controlling that spinnaker nicely down that leg there, that red and white spinnaker with the red swirl, very Alinghi style on the front of that boat. That's one of the VX1s. 3 here this afternoon in race, being sailed by 2, moving through the water nicely as they make their way across from Mark 1, on their way down to Mark 1. So about the jibe's coming up, and here they go across the boat. VX1, inside jibe. Easily done by that team, Alan Smith and Don McCracken. I mean, these guys have had a lot of history together. They sailed the America's Cup together on One World in Auckland in 2003, and here they are sailing again as mates together, 2 of them. So when people get together, they sail for a long time together. But 2 America's Cuppers on these VX1s getting down to Mark 1. They've caught up quite a bit, I think, Peter.
Yeah, they've had a good smooth run down there, avoided the traffic in the centre of the course. Let's sort it out here. It's a bit of a tighter leg into the bottom mark for them. They've gone a little bit wide, but we can see one of the other VXs on the inside there. 141, Helder Skelter, has got an inside run on them here, and may just pull ahead.
Helder Skelter of Luke Patterson with his son on board. He sailed with his son in the Mirrors, and he's got his son on board. In fact, he was sailing here this afternoon, and a visitor from Canada on board that boat. So Luke Patterson just inside. He's a Etchell sailor as well, Luke Patterson. He's on the board of Australian Sailing. He should know a bit about sailing. I reckon he sailed in the Flying 15 Worlds and the Etchell's Worlds here in Fremantle. So back into the middle here, we've got the red top of Royal Perth 1.
Yeah, we'd see
turn.
A bit of a penalty turn here from Royal Perth 1. It's a bit tight in the middle here. You've got some of the boats coming around this bottom mark, and initially you had a lot of the boats still working their way down wind under Spinnaker, and there's a bit of exchange there, and obviously Royal Perth 1 has had to throw in a penalty turn.
And Peter, all the yachts now are on the race course. So all of the 18 are in race 1 of 3 this afternoon. The cumulative points to go to the trophy. So all boats on the course. I noticed that the Don't Panic, David Davenport, Kenny Stevenson and their team, no Spinnaker on their boat in leg 1.
Yes, we can't quite see them off screen at the moment, but we can see our Elliott there, Royal Perth 7 making up a little bit of boat traffic to confuse the waters as well. They've got to try and find their way in and around these yachts as they make their way upstream. It's a bit of a navigation nightmare for some of our...
Well, it's hard, isn't it? No, you've got the wind, you've got the current, you've got lots of traffic, and you've got 17 other competitors. It's a really difficult piece of water to sail. They say if you can sail in here, you can sail anywhere.
That's right, sailing the drain pipe, and we can see Bruce Wilkins, who's done the drain pipe a lot of times here, is still in the lead at the moment. He's having a good run. We can, to the top right of the screen, we can see Bruce, see the difference between our third place boat, one of the Royal Perth Elliots, and you can see Bruce under kite there making his way down on the second lap of the course.
So it looks like we're at the western end of the course.
Yes, and we see Tiger has just missed out in one of the gusts, so they've had to tack back, work their way around the market. They're lucky that they haven't got all the traffic down on top of them, but that's allowed Royal Perth 5, I think, to catch them up. We can see boats coming back towards the start line here.
And there goes Anton Yukonovic just shooting that mark in Royal Perth Yacht Club 1. Now the red kite, if they've repaired that and got it ready, should come sliding out of it. And we're now back to...
we can see Bruce Wilkinson with the red kite there, Turkish Delight, and the little one, I think is the Excitable, the Bull 9000. They're having a good run. They're all at the jibe mark there. You can see the red kite, Bruce is still leading. And blue kite, they've got it, they're underway. Top of the course here, we see...
Nedlands boat, I reckon.
Nedlands, there's Tiger just in the front getting their kite ready.
That's the white Spinnaker there with the bowman getting the pole popped out.
N37, we've got the orange kite of one of the VXs on its way on the right-hand side of the screen. The other one is centre screen there, the blue kite.
It's the other Melgers, I reckon. Yep.
Yep, there we have 655. They're making their way down to the bottom mark.
They're back to the Netherlands boat again, the Tiger.
Kite in.
There's the Tiger. Ooh.
A little bit of traffic here with Tiger and the Royal Perth.
Melgers.
What is the Melgers, is it?
It's Melee.
Melee.
It's the Kilcullen team. You know, they come down from Royal Perth. They're a team. There's a dad. They call it a melee because they got Mike on the thing and 2 kids. It's a melee. That's why it's called a melee.
And the kids are given the instructions.
The kids are given the instructions most of the time. That's why it's called the melee. Yeah.
I guess they did. Melee sort of leading in here, and they're...
and we're back to... we've got... Ooh,
you can see they're around Melgers, very tight with the Melgers and Tiger.
Yeah. We stick with that. That's good.
That's they'll get a bit of wash off the back there, and they'll accelerate over there on Tiger. It's a very tight run. He's going to sit on his tail and get dragged along as far as he can. And they'll be trying to keep him out of his wind, so he's coming up now. It's one of the few few boats, the Tiger, that uses a symmetrical kite and a pole. So they can run a bit squarer with that.
Well, they're approaching mark number 2 at the eastern end of the course.
Yep, they're sort of jockeying position there. First kite away from Tiger.
So the drone's giving us a very good picture of those two as they come to the mark number 2.
Yeah, still quite away from the mark. Dropped their kite quite early on Tiger. Probably a bit shy for the symmetrical kite. Yeah, so managing to get in without doing too much prawning here. When you drop the kite over the side there, Ed, you call that prawning. So they have a bit of trouble there on the melee. And that's allowed Tiger to get around in front of them.
Well, they're in a bit of trouble there. So that mark's created trouble for Royal Perth Yacht Club 1, and it's created trouble now for another one of the competitors.
Yeah, it wasn't
at that second mark.
Yeah, it wasn't a clean drop, but they're sorted out now, and they're going to have to tack back with a bit of traffic coming down on that marker. This will be interesting. So who has rights? But I think they've got around here. They've escaped, given a bit of room to Tiger, and there we got Royal Perth 1 and a Kaya hot on their tail.
That's it.
Royal Perth looking to go a little bit deeper and pick that angle out of there, get the breeze a bit longer before getting back into the traffic.
Royal Perth Yacht Club 1, the Elliott, looking to work that northern shore.
We can see in the middle of the screen here we've got a number of boats jostling and jibing and vying for position in there. The VX1 very, very close, chase on his tail there.
It's a real good battle between those two of Luke Patterson and Alan Smith. Alan Smith in the striped red and white, and Luke Patterson in the red spinnaker behind him. The VX1's having a really good go, those two.
Yep.
We're going to try and stick to that if we can, that battle. As they go across, 303, Alan Smith, and behind Oz 141, Luke Patterson.
Yeah, they're only 2 up on that first boat, so it's quite a battle, keeping the boat level. But yeah, they're powering along quite nicely there, Ed.
And the blue kite outside of it is probably the other one. No, it's not. It's a. I don't think that's the other VX1, the blue kite. Not sure. But certainly Luke Patterson and Lockie Patterson have had the best of that contest and have gone really straight past.
Yeah, we're 303's had to drop their kite early, but they're going to have a clean entrance into this marker. Won't have any washing to bring in.
And going in there in the corner, Jeepers is not. A bit of a touch of the mark there, just for fun. 271.
Yeah, 271. The Viper 271.
Boat with no name. That's Kim Lunig in there.
Yeah.
I reckon he touched that marker from the air. Do you think he did?
Yeah, looked like that from here.
I reckon he's got a penalty to do.
We'll see if he does any turns.
Yeah, I reckon he's got a penalty to do. But those two VX1s are having a good battle. Luke Patterson having the best of it. Luke Patterson with the black sails and Alan Smith, VX1 with the white sails.
Yeah, we've got hissing in the wind just chasing him up there as well. Brett Sharp, his team.
Can we get a sheet of the boys from the stats people? Back to that battle of the VX1s there. It's been a battle of the afternoon so far.
Yeah, it sort of opens up the spaces a bit as they're coming upwind here. We can see 303 sort of come in short, and they've made quite a bit of ground back. They lost a bit coming in there because they were a bit low. Lost rights, but they're looking to get some clean air there and gone into the corner. Along with, we've got Blackbird, Liam Pavarou, just tacking now. And Protopia, yeah, he's on his tail. You see there's a fair bit of traffic coming there. See, it's the VX battle upwind, Ed.
Yeah, they're sticking with that because it's so exciting for us. While you keep an eye on that, Peter, I can give you a bit of a report from round 1 of 3 laps that we've had. It seems there are really no major improvers. The situation seems to be very much as it was at the start, with Kaya dropping and Anton Jukanovic with that penalty turn that he needed to do dropping as well. But pretty much other than that, all other boats in the position they were at the start.
I'm going to zoom in on the start here where we can just right in the background whilst we can see perhaps a bit of movement here with some of the leaders. But we'll come back to that. We can see the Vipers 271 boat with no name.
Kim Lunig.
And Protopia just moving onto the beach there, looking for some breeze. Tiger is up and around the top mark, making their way back down towards the start. They'll have their kite up again. They've made quite a bit of space there in that upwind leg.
Once again, we're looking at that northern shore, and it seems that all the yachts that are going upwind are working that northern shore, as they often do this afternoon, Peter. It seems to be where they like to be.
Yeah, I think it gives them a good angle. Got to be careful, though. You can see on the screen there the shallow water. You can see the dark patches of weed and rock. So you don't want to venture too deep into that shore. Most of the boats have kept it clear, but yeah, it's quite the tacking duel coming back up the reach here, vying for a good spot to keep the breeze on that, which is on that far shore there.
I've not seen anyone touch on that far shore yet, but so close to it for sure.
It has happened.
Yes, indeed.
All right, we see Royal AUS 217. Hero. Scotty Glaskin.
Grant Rollerson on board as well.
There's quite attacking duel here as they're making their way up the top to get to mark number 3, and our lead boats are on the final lap, so sort of bringing it all together.
No.
There you can see the Viper 216. Eugen in the bowl. Rodney Burdo sort of moving away from 272. Steel to breeze. So the Vipers are still fighting it out together there. A fair way back from our leaders.
Still plenty of traffic on this river.
Yeah, Helter Skelter there, just the left of screen chasing down. We got a Kaya there with a yellow kite. And we have a look on the jibe here heading across to the bottom mark. Hero.
Glaskin and others, Rollerson.
Yeah, boat with no name, Kimmy Lunig.
Those Vipers don't get far away from each other. 30 seconds between them at the start, and they're still really bunched together a bit.
Yeah, it seemed to be they're chasing those gusts. You can see we get just in front of the red kite there. There's just that little dark patch in the water. They've dropped into that gust there, and they're following that down to the bottom marker. You can see them powering away there when they've caught that gust, which brings them up to the boats in front. They're on port, so they have to give way, but they're right on the tail. He's going to jibe, right, going to slam dunk right on top of him there. Good job, boat with no name. He's got a wine glass just for his efforts.
Hero with
Scotty
Glaskin and Grant Rollerson did a good job of protecting that inside running. If we stick with that, we'll notice that Scotty Glaskin and Grant Rollerson and the team will actually have the inside running at this mark, as the VX1 of Alan Smith goes screaming through on the inside. But now the jibe comes up on Rollerson's boat and Glaskin's, and they move into the mark, but it's Alan Smith with the inside there with the checkered red, the VX1 coming inside, but it's too fast. Glaskin and Rollerson too fast at that mark, and they round it and off and away.
Yeah, they held it together there, Alan Smith, just to get around there with Protopia before he got run over by the Viper there of
that's
boat with no name. And now we've got 141.
Helter Skelter, that is. That's Luke Patterson there. So he's dropped back on Alan Smith. So Alan Smith's come up a little bit. He's behind Helter Skelter, but the gang of them heading over to mark number 2. That's a very pretty picture out there on that eastern picture. At that top mark, there's a real big gaggle of yachts coming to this mark. And Kelvin Ho and his drone people are keeping a very good eye on that and giving us that fabulous picture at that top mark. Just as I said that, they've taken the drone away from there.
Yeah, great racing, and that's sort of all pulling
down.
There
we go. Yep.
Pulling down here is the group are starting to tighten up here. It'll be who hangs onto their kite, can get it away cleanly.
Alan Smith round this mark there, one in 303 and then attack. That's going to have to be what he has to do, I think.
He's clear. There's no prawning here. They're having a bit of trouble getting the kite in there from 271. Not too many prawns on board.
Boat with no name. Kim Lunig and the team.
We call it Kalis Brothers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there we have 141. Helter Skelter in the tail. That's very, very tight. This upwind leg. Who's going to call water because they're going to run aground?
Can you figure out if anyone's coming up or down and give me an idea?
It's very, very tight racing here, Ed, coming up out of the far side of the river there.
And off screen, it looks like we've had some issues with Turnham Green. So we don't have that on the screen, but Turnham Green appears to be a withdrawal from race number 1.
Yeah, Turnham Green. We could rename Guy Skinner's boat Kalis 2. He's got quite a bag of water there.
I think there's your wipeout so far.
Dredging the river they are.
Now they've picked it up. So listeners and viewers at home, if you've just joined us there on this picture, you can see that they're getting that white spinnaker back on board. It's right under the boat. They're probably going to keep sailing, but they've got to get that back on the boat. That happened off screen.
Yeah, we tend to call that prawning, Ed. When you get the kite over the side, you get a good guts full of water like that, and a bit like a trawler out scooping up the prawns.
Here on the veranda, we've had a really good view of that. But look, just going back after the boats have been 2 rounds of this course, it appears on lap 2, it appears that John Bucknell, RPYC5, is in the lead. And it appears that Akaya is also up in the lead as well. And Bruce Wilkinson, Turkish Delight's now gone down to 4th place, so he's dropping through the fleet a bit. It looks like that the 2 Elliots are looking pretty good at this stage after 2 laps completed.
Yeah, we can zoom in. We can see a lot of boats working upwind. If we can zoom in the finish, we got 3 boats coming down here, all neck and neck.
That's Rhythm on 655 there.
Rhythm, Turkish Delight there in the centre was so holding it.
And the bull on the bull on the inside, on the outside there, PR 7000, the team from Albany. Chloe back on board.
Yep. The bull, a little bit of trouble there underneath the other 2 boats, getting its kite up, elected to jibe away, but we can see Turkish Delight there in chase.
So as we predicted, Peter Kennington, looking there at Rhythm, it looks as though they've made a good start. it looks as though they've worked their way through the fleet. The Melgers 24, the winner of last year's event, now in second place as they make their way down to mark number 1 again.
Yeah, we can see Rhythm on screen there. Job a little bit lower, but it's got good speed there with Turkish Delight in the centre with a red kite. And Excitable, the blue kite dropping down, has picked more of an inside run. But they're all going to have to jibe back shortly, so we'll watch this. They get the jibe, you can see the marker just to the top right of screen there. And you've got the Elliott, who's also zooming in from the outside there on starboard tack. So they're going to have to find some space here and keep things a little magic to get around there without touching that mark and without touching each other.
We're at mark number 1 at the eastern end of the course.
Let's see, the Elliott Royal Perth 5, I think it is jibed. Not the best of jibes, but it's Royal Perth 5. They're around. With side of ball has got a good clean jibe and go on the inside there.
It's tight here.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for trying to keep that orange kite full and keep the power in it. So they've had to pull away a bit. And then Bruce Wilkinson sitting on the tail.
I suspect that Bruce Wilkinson's been passed by the bull for sure. And I suspect that the little Elliott's a little bit more manoeuvrable than those bigger boats. Doing a good job, John Bucknell and his team, at staying ahead of those two across this reach. There won't be any passing in this reach. They'll stay in that position 1, 2, 3, 4. But that's the lead and that's the head of the fleet at the moment.
Yep, it's our lead 4 boats, and they've interchanged positions a couple of times as they come upwind. So it'll be good to see the performance upwind of these boats, all electing a bit square to that marker, so they've elected to drop early. Bruce trying to hang on to that for the last second to get what he can out of it, which is has put Rhythm to the outside. So he's picked up Rhythm there, who got caught underneath. We can see the Royal Perth 5, Excitable in second place. Bruce on Turkish Delight there.
No, Turkish Delight's pretty much gone.
Yeah, we see back here with the Vipers. So they're all coming around the marker and getting ready to hoist. Boat with no name. 271. There we have Protopia.
And flashing across the screen is probably quite a dejected Alan Smith at the moment with the striped red and a Luke Patterson there. A little bit dejected on where they're finding themselves in these VX1s.
Oh, we can see the jibe here. The Vipers are around. You see a Kaya there, 707. He sort of started off in third place. The Vipers have slowly mowed him down.
Yeah.
They're working their way out to the centre of the river there to get this breeze. So in the job here, we've got a Kaya there with a yellow kite. It's gone a little bit lower. Looking into position because they'll need to jibe again as they come in towards Mark 1. And then we've got Turnham Green, who has sorted their mess out working up. It's going to cause a bit of grief coming through the middle of that as they preparing to jibe. So there we are at Mark 1. The boats all sort of catching each other up now as the racing's getting very, very tight back there.
But the handicapper's back in the middle of the fleet. All of these positions will count. So you can see how busy it is in that picture that we're now seeing on the screen. Almost all the boats are in that picture. So as they get closer to the end of this first game, it pictures quite clear that other than the lead 4, there's quite a gaggle behind them.
Yes, the boats have certainly compressed, followed the handicapper's plan. And those first 3 boats will get a bit of a handicap to knock them back a little bit. Now we can see
Alan Smith's VX1 there, 303.
Having a bit of fun before the marker.
It looks as though the dock's almost over the side. There's his legs hanging over the wrong way. In fact, we nearly lost the dock.
The skipper's dragging him on board so we can get that kite down and go back to the marker.
We nearly lost the dock there. Oh, they're in all sorts of trouble here, Peter Kennington. Look at that. They're on the side there. That's pretty much the wipeout of the day so far. That's the dock and Alan Smith. The dock's nearly gone off the side. They've had the spinnaker in the water, an impromptu jibe. Not a nice sort of piece of action there for the sailors, but plenty of action for us here on the veranda of the beautiful East Fremantle Yacht Club as we enjoy the beautiful food and facilities up here at this club that has a fabulous river frontage.
I will say they recovered well out of that, Ed, from a bit of chaos on the water. We can see a kite here, kite down nice and clean, and they're going to make their way over towards that northern shore.
And I reckon that those Vipers, that gang of Vipers we saw that were at that mark a little bit behind the leaders, are going to make their way through those leaders. That's my feeling about this. If they don't make their way through, they're going to be right up in it. I imagine that Rodney Burdo probably will be in the picture fairly soon, looking at where he started in the Vipers.
I'm sort of looking for Rod on the course there. I think he's escaped the main group and is sitting up here with the lead group at the moment.
Indeed. And so there's the Royal Perth Yacht Club boat in the lead that we can see on the course here.
Yeah, we can see just on screen here we've got 271 boat with no name.
Boat with no name.
Having a good run out of there off the north side of the course.
Yep. Rhythm's still there.
A little bit of traffic. RP1's recovered after their little disaster.
And they're coming round to this mark and to the finishing line now, so we're coming into the finish.
Yeah, RP5, I think.
And RP5 is only just going to hold out Rodney Burdo by the looks of it. Is he going to hold it out? It's getting very tight here. Just keep it going. Royal Perth Yacht Club number 5. John Bucknell comes in with a win in race number 1. And well sailed Rodney Burdo to get up into second place. With the Rhythm, last year's winner, coming through third. And then it looks like
Excitable,
the Albany team, very tight in the end. There go the Ribs moving in. Comes Turkish Delight, who held them off for a while.
And we've got Tiger there.
Tiger, the Netherlands, Elliott coming in next. Quite a gang of those came over the line.
Certainly not out of it. Those first 3 will get a bit of an addition to their handicap. Rodney Burdo is already back middle of the fleet, so he'll move back a bit more. All right, on screen here we can see the Elliott. Some of the boats still making up. The Bull got their chase crew coming over to assist, or if there are any protests or complaints, the jury boat will be out there to share that. We've got still a number of boats making their way up. 271. A bit of mayhem on the middle of the screen there. We've got boats making their way in and around the moorings there. Royal Perth giving their congratulations to their team for a job well done there. Last of our boats are just finishing. You see Royal Perth 1, not the last boat across. We still have the Vipers, 217. Hero, Scotty Glaskin. We've got 271, boat with no name. Chasing him across with the VX. Bow number 141, Helter Skelter, Luke Patterson. .272, still to breeze, John Park. Next one across. Next to the VXs, AUS 282, Blackbird. Had a good run, 2 up. Be a lot of work on board there. Nice little view.
Club. We're just going to actually bring you some interviews from some of the sailors from last night's briefing, and the team from the Two Monkeys will, and we'll ask them what they were thinking of their expectations for today's racing. Here we go.
And what happens is we end up spending about half the leg getting the spinnaker up, and then we get a nice little gust that takes us screaming into a pretty bad overlap situation, and we then have to work out how to get the kite down and nice and tight and worry about our rights. So it's going to be a bit of fun out there. I've got a few bigger people than normal on the boat, purely to try and handle the kite and see how we go.
Look at the handicap for the Rumble in the Reach. What do you think of your chances?
You always got to like your chances down here at East Fremantle. I think, look, we gave 4 minutes to the winners last year. When I look back at what we had, there's looking pretty similar numbers, stronger forecast, so Viper loves to get up and go. They're a fast boat. We're mainly going to be focused on racing the other Vipers. We like to travel around and have a bit of fun, but yeah, I'd say enjoy chasing down a Meldres this year would be a goal, because we didn't get to see them last year. They were off in the distance, so that's the goal.
Who's sailing with you?
Rob Senior is actually steering the boat, so Rob and I share the duties there. He's got the privilege of trying to get around the Cairns here tomorrow, and then we've got Steve Oliver up front. So a couple of team have a go.
Ed, with that handicap, probably not too great, but it's a great event to come down here and sail in this stretch of water, and it's we'll do our best and get around the course. We're sailing just 2 of us. So that'll be a challenge, and it'll be fun. Protopia means as long as tomorrow's a bit better than yesterday, so that's where the name comes from.
Why have you brought in these VX ones? Why didn't you just go with the Viper?
Oh, it's a bit of flexibility, Ed. That you can sail 2 up instead of 3, and they're a shorter rig, a lot less sail area, and I think for Perth conditions they're probably pretty appropriate. You can still tip them out and tip them over, so we might be up for the prize for the biggest wipeout. But yeah, they're sort of probably a little more flexibility as far as finding other people to go sailing with you.
Reach, what do you think of your chances, and who's sailing with you?
Ed, look, for the 15th year that we've competed in the event, I think we've got a fairly good chance. We're on 12, but the VXs might prove a little bit of a problem depending on the conditions we get tomorrow. We look to kick their ass, but that is our objective from the Viper fleet. The 2 chaps sailing with me, Martin Atwell, I discovered on the corner of William Street and Hay Street in 1989. He was selling the Big Issue, and now he's frontman extraordinaire. Duncan Ray, manager extraordinaire at Nedlands Yacht Club. He's the main driver behind the new training centre that's due to be started building over there. Duncan sails everything from bathtubs to 40-footers offshore, so I'm confident in the crew. It's just going to be left up to me to make the good decisions, and hopefully we're pretty confident.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Dick.
VX1s are basically a 29er with a keel. One design, we have ourselves one rope to pull the kite up and down, one spinnaker sheet, self-tacking jib. haven't raced against anyone else other than some of the bigger yachts in the club racing at Freshie. So looking forward to racing against the sports boats and specifically the Vipers. We think we're slower than the Vipers, so it will be interesting starting behind them, but we'll see. And then the next big event for us three VX1s is Jurgaf Bay. Looking forward to it.
So welcome back, viewers, listeners, and on the veranda as well, here at the East Fremantle Yacht Club for the 15th edition of the Rumble in the Reach. 3 races for the Rumble in the Reach. One has been completed already, and we're in the process of a starting sequence for the second. The handicaps will be adjusted, but first let's give you the results of race number 1. The first boat was John Bucknell's Elliott 7 from Royal Perth Yacht Club, and in second place was Rodney Berto in his Viper, You Get in the Bowl, and in third place was Excitable, Jeffrey Oliver, bringing the bull up from Albany. Missed last year's race. That's a great result for them. They'll be very happy with that. And Turkish Delight in fourth. Rhythm was disqualified in that race, so that puts them out of action. So those were the first 5 to cross the line. Makes for interesting reading. And now we'll move on to race number 2. Peter Kennington's here as well. And as we can see on the screen, the boats are limbering up for the start here. And going to step in for me for this race, it'll be Warren Erasmus. He writes for the Weekend West. You'll find his articles in the outdoor section. And Warren Erasmus is going to take over. But Peter Kennington, Warren will talk you through race number 2. So, Peter, here they are, limbering up again for another beauty.
Yeah, sort of just looking at the course, Ed. We see the breeze. The boat's been heading out there to that to the right-hand side of screen there, because you can see the breeze, the gusts coming across the water. You see just to the right of screen there, the shiny patches. That's the gusts that come out from the bottom of the building there, and the boats have been chasing those across the river. So after the start, we'll see them head out towards the centre to get a hold of those gusts. They're all lining up the start. We're inside 4 minutes before the first boat starts. And we've got first boat away, I think, will be should be Bruce Wilkinson. We're on course 3, so we've got 4 laps, Warren.
Wonderful, thank you,
4 laps,
Peter.
And hopefully they look at their instructions and make sure they don't put number 3 in their last leg. We can see the dark patches on the water there. There are the gusts that the boats will be chasing when they accelerate away. They're trying to find a position on the water, get hold of those gusts and move forward.
Yeah, so we were looking at earlier gusts of about 18 knots. I was down there having a chat to Helen, who is down there in the start box and supporting our wonderful volunteers that are out there on the water in our support boats this weekend, and also the flag bearers. So yeah, gusts of about 18 knots, and we saw some carnage with those boats on the last couple of laps that they went around. A little bit of misjudgment, maybe a bit of overshooting, and saw the underside of a few of those boats when we really needed to see the top side.
Yeah, it was a couple of exciting moments there, especially for Protopia down there at the bottom mark that managed to get it together, get their kite down without too much going wrong. But here we are on the screen. We can see Turkish Delight, first cab off the rank, and he crosses the start line.
And they stepped up a little bit there and jumped up into, I believe it was third place.
Third place, yeah. The DSQ allowed everyone to move up a notch. I'm not exactly sure what Rhythm did, but enough to warrant a DSQ.
Yes, and so the finish of the last race, for those that were in there, they all crossed within a couple of seconds of each other. So 29 seconds, 40 seconds, 44 seconds across the line. And so this time 6:55, which you'll be heading off first. We'll be looking at a couple of seconds behind that will be the RPYC Elliott number 1. Then boat 772, which is Melee. And then we're looking at East Fremantle number 5. So that's that Turkish Delight will be heading off at the 44-second mark. So just had all the fall numbers there sent up to us from Helen and the lovely working crew down there. And looking forward to them keeping us in touch of what's happening down there on the jetty.
Yeah, so a few of our starters away. We've got Excitable there having a little bit of trouble getting their kite up. RP1's headed out towards the centre of the course. And then we have Akaya there with the yellow kite, sort of picking up one of those gusts, and they'll probably jibe over to the centre of the river.
And here goes Tiger. They're popping up their kite as they come across on, just sit there and jibe onto port. Looks like they're having a few issues on the bow at the moment with that kite going up. But as Akaya fills their kite and away they go down the river towards Blackwall Reach and doing a jibe there. So for those on the Facebook page listening into us, Akaya is the one with the big yellow kite. And then just in front of them is Excitable on the 7,000 with the blue one.
Yeah, they're making their way, as I was describing earlier. We're sort of making their way across the river in these gusts. And then you just see the bull there, jibed. They're coming back so they can pick up Mark 1. But they're trying to get the best out of this breeze, head over the centre of the river, capture those gusts, and get down to that marker. So we can see a
nice big round up there of the red kite out in the middle. Looks like one of the Elliots.
Yeah, Royal Perth 1.
Just got themselves back under control.
Got it sorted. They're all jibing back now, so they come towards Mark 3. We can see Excitable there on the right-hand side. And almost at the bottom mark, that Mark 2 is Bruce Wilkinson.
So you'll see them all coming down on starboard. They have rights there coming in towards the mark. They'll then jibe around onto their port side, which means they lose all rights when they're going downwind against another one of the boats. Of course, they don't want to touch that mark, all round up on the mark and pick it up and carry it away. We haven't seen that yet this year. Have seen it in previous years, but Akaya there getting a little bit of a power up as Tiger comes through behind them. Oh, yeah. There we go. Tiger's all over the place. As long as they keep an eye on in front of them.
Yeah, and we can see, right evident here, we can see the Spinnaker pole at the front of Tiger. That's the only boat carrying a symmetrical spinnaker, that white symmetrical spinnaker, and a pole that holds the leading edge of it out. Where if you look at the bow of 655 there, you can see they've got a sprit that sticks out, and the spinnaker attaches to that. Now what Tiger's managed to do there is sail over the top of Akaya, steal all their wind and slow them down. So
that's an interesting bit of a tactical move there, because Akaya let them sail over. Now in the rules, Akaya could easily have pointed up a little bit higher there and pushed Tiger up. Now those symmetrical spinnakers, the big yellow one and the orange one, they can point a lot higher than the symmetrical. So a bit of an interesting move there for Akaya, just to let Tiger roll over the top of them. And now you can see 655 is now rolling over the top of everyone else and taking all their wind as well.
That's right. They're heading down there. They'll probably need. They're probably going to pull it all down early so they can get a tidy rounding here at Mark 3. They're all squeezing up, bit square to the wind for the asymmetrics. And we can see on the inside there.
So
Rhythm's around with Tiger sort of holding place, and Akaya on the outside having to go a bit wider.
And unfortunately for Akaya there, not being able to do much, they had to give room to Rhythm and Tiger. So Rhythm was last year's winner, coming in on the inside. So mark room, once they're 3 boat lengths from that mark, any boat to their right-hand side or the leeward side needs to give that boat room. And they were able to sneak in. So excellent job there by Rhythm, showing their history in winning the event previously, coming into fruition there for them, and now they're leading back up the line.
We see Turkish Delight in the middle of the screen here, our leader. You can see the boat's just behind them in the back screen there. That's our second and third place. So Turkish Delight's moving along quite well here, having a good run, dodging a bit of traffic. We can see the other boats coming out of the bottom marker, making their way up towards centre. And then they'll move back to this other side where Turkish Delight's heading on that northern side of the reach here.
How much fun is this, Peter, being a bit of rail meat there, sitting out on the rail nice and thinking heavy, trying to get that deck back as level as possible for the skipper, and just hoping that the stay holds and your wires hold the weight of the...
Yes, well Bruce, looking at the photo here, he's heading over towards the shallow side of the river. He's been there before. Hopefully he'll tack away now before it gets too shallow. But what they're doing sitting on the side there is sort of trying to counterbalance the wind, keep the boat upright. The more upright it is, the faster it'll go. And they're trying to anticipate these gusts. So the person with the main sheet is trying to keep the boat on the same angle of heel all the way along.
It's a constant battle between the person on the main sheet and the person on the rudder, isn't it? The main sheet gets pulled in, the rudder gets a little bit weather-helmed, and then you're fighting each other constantly. But the idea is keep the boat as steady as possible, as you're saying there. A little bit of a power up so the main sheet gets eased. And as they sail across, coming into the top mark, getting ready, doing the zigzag all the way back down the river.
Yeah, so they've got Malcolm on the rail there, putting himself to good use. So we're working our way upwind. See the last of all our boats have started now. On the back of the screen we can see the white kite. We can't quite see Turnham Green, but we can see the last of the Vipers there making their way down into that bottom mark.
Yeah, Turnham Green is going towards the first mark at the moment. We might see them pop a kite shortly, but at the moment they just seem to be running with the jib and the main. But Turnham Green there, avoiding a bit of a powerboat. The joys of this part of the river, isn't it? It's all the powerboaters are coming in or back from a day trip to Rottnest. You can see them doing the zigzag.
As the breeze picks up, they all come home.
That's it.
Yes. It's a good run, keeping that boat nice and level, moving along well there, Royal Perth 1. Not quite. We can see the difference in height between, and the height is the angle to the wind. So we can see Royal Perth 1 sort of moving towards the right-hand side, and I think that's rhythm. We're seeing a little bit higher on the wind.
So that comes down to boat design, sail design, age of sails, all of that kind of stuff. So what are some factors that you've had in the past, Peter, for our non-sailing people that are tuning in on Facebook there, that can really affect the height and angle?
I think the biggest thing here is having someone that's a bit tidy on the main sheet. We just saw RP1 here make quite a bit of ground there on Rhythm. Rhythm's tack wasn't as clean. Took a little while to get control, and we're trying to sail too high, and consequently Royal Perth 1 has now moved into a better position as they approach the mark at the top of the screen here. We can see quite a few boat leaks between them. Good clean tack, and makes all the difference.
Yep. So a good couple of lengths there on RP1. Royal Perth Yacht Club Elliott 7 at number 1, the red top there with the red bow. They have been able to shoot that mark as we see Turkish Delight coming down across the finish line for their second lap, popping out their red kite. The handicappers look like they've done their job properly on this lap. We've got a big bunching of the crews as they all start to come up from the back end of the fleet.
Yeah, we can see here where they're quite spread out. We've got Turkish Delight, who's around the start, come back for their second lap, making their way down. We've got boats down at the bottom at mark 1, but you'll see those boats move closer and closer together as we move through the race.
So that mark you just saw off screen there to the right is the start line, and then the mark out in the middle of the river, the orange buoy at the moment, that's a mark on the course. The teams all have to keep that to port. So we can see the blue boat in the middle is leading out the Elliott, and then we've got Rhythm, last year's winner, popping their kite just behind the big orange one.
Yeah, Rhythm's at the moment electing to stay on the right-hand side. They may have a gust. Yeah, looking at that run, they've got themselves a little gust, and they're staying on this right-hand side of the river. If they could keep that, they could go all the way down to mark 3 and pick up Excitable and Royal Perth 1, who've elected to go to the centre. See the red and the blue kite. They've gone left of screen on a port tack, and Rhythm is just killing it here on a starboard tack right the way down. They're
into the moorings?
In through the moorings, which they're slightly better angle than Bruce Wilkinson. And they'll come out red hot on the jibe here, probably with Excitable breathing down their neck.
Here they go for the jibe, and unfortunately out in the middle of the river they're rounding up as well, so they're having a lot of issues trying to get that big blue kite under play. As we see Rhythm powering down, chasing down Turkish Delight in the red kite. Rhythm in second place, and then the big blue kite there having all kinds of trouble as the Elliott 7 powers down through behind to come in.
Yeah, Excitable's looking to place in the Wipeout Trophy.
They've done a few so far this afternoon. It's only race number 2, but that's what we love about this event, isn't it, Peter? The thrills, the spills, the gusts that come through this area.
Yep, we can just see on screen here after a bit of a wipeout there with I think it's Excitable.
Yep.
No, Excitable's through. This is
7,000 Excitable in front.
This is the they're okay. The Melgies.
Elliott 7. Tiger.
Tigers got themselves together, got their pole out. They were still having...
Just off screen, we missed, unfortunately, the big roundup that they had right on that mark. Bowman working their magic there, getting that pole seated on that upwind side of the kite to hold that leading edge out nice and tidy for them. And Excitable's now sorted out all of their problems on the blue kite and powers across.
Yeah. We can see the leaders around the bottom mark there. Turkish Delight.
So as we go, Turkish Delight is around in the first place. Coming in behind is Rhythm. Let's hope they sailed the right course this time into second. Excitable's sorted out their kite and coming down into third, followed by Tiger, and I think it was one of the Elliott 7s hopping in behind.
Yeah, we've got Akaya in the chase, but these three have made Royal Perth 1, the Bull around. Tiger's got a tidy drop there. They get rid of that pole. Lined up. Nice clean exit there, chasing RP1.
You reckon they're going to tack across as soon as they can to get out of that dirty air from Royal Perth 1, or do you think they're going to hold that right-hand side of the river?
We're stuck there in behind at the moment, trying to pinch up.
There we go.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of action happening. The cameras don't know where to point at the moment. So we've got Protopia out dead smack in the middle of the front of the club. So unfortunately, they don't get to deny what just happened. The cameraman was quick to catch that. A big roundup as they came around the mid-river mark and saw a lot of the underside of their boat. And then down further towards Blackwall Reach, we had a couple of boats round up as well. So all the action here. So jumping on. Back to our leaders at the moment, coming back up for their third leg.
Yes, they're all trying to pick up these gusts. So we can see on the screen there, the Spinnakers all chasing the gusts down towards that bottom mark, and a bit of overlay with the boats working upwind. Best angles out there towards Mark 2, but that brings them amongst the action with the boats at the jibe. So we're at the jibe mark.
All right, so we've just had our wonderful statisticians off to the side. Clem and Cyril hand us the first round. So this is race number 2, lap number 1. So in first place was Turkish Delight of Bruce Wilkinson. Second place is Excitable with Jess Oliver, which is the sail with big 7,000 on it on your screen right now. And then further down we had Royal Perth 1, which is being sailed by Anton Jonovic in third place. Then fourth was Rhythm, last year's winner. Fifth is Tiger. Sixth is Melee, which is the Melgers 24. Seventh is Akaya. Eighth is Royal Perth Elliott 7, number 5, the big grey one. And then ninth will be Steel Debris of John Park in the first of our Vipers, chasing down the fleet, and then followed by Scott Glasgow on Hero.
Yeah, we have Protopia, who was entertaining the crowd a minute ago. Got the jibe mark in there, making their way down to the bottom mark. Saw Rodney Burdo go scooting through there a minute ago, so he's moved up the fleet a little bit. AUS 216.
Yep. And as we have a look at Turkish Delight on the screen at the moment on your live feed, they are currently in second. Rhythm has been able to overtake them on the first upwind leg of this next lap. And so they're, again, all hugging that north side of the river, trying to get the bit of a breeze as it comes around and bends in the doctor there. So Turkish Delight in second place.
At least when they come together here, see Turkish Delight just moving left of screen. They'll be watching across. We'll see Rhythm come into screen. Just come out of that shallow water there. So Bruce is probably going to have to put a tack in as well. Head across. Rhythm's out. Bruce has been known to do the Stevie Wonder in there and test the bottom with his keel.
Ah, okay. So the clean the old bottom trick, is it? Is that like the wind check when the skipper doesn't quite know where the wind's coming from and you round up? It's just called a wind check. Yep, that's where the wind's coming from. Let's go back down again.
So the Rhythm's got a good lead there. Through a bit of boat wash. We can see
these boats are, unfortunately, with a little bit of wake like that, if you're right on your rum line, so that the line but best sailed straight to the next mark, unfortunately sometimes those wakes can just shake these sports boats just that little bit too much, and you fall out of that slot, and then you'll have to do another tack, as you see here. A couple of quick tacks. Doesn't look like Turkish
not going to quite make it.
They're going to have to do it as well.
Put another one in, so they're going to do it early rather than later. And there we have Rhythm around cleanly. Off coming up to begin their third leg. Turkish Delight, hot in pursuit. And we can see in the right of screen there.
Got a bit of action going on.
With 5, Tiger. They're all working, and the Bull. They're all working very, very closely with each other, making their way. They're not letting go.
Yes, this is definitely going to be an interesting mark rounding. Is the blue boat of Tiger, which is Royal Perth 7. The Elliott 7 there of race Elliott 1, which is from Royal Perth, and then Excitable after their little mishaps at the bottom. Unfortunately, sitting in a little bit of dirty air. So the RP1 red bow there, they have to give a little bit of room to Tiger to complete their rounding, and vice versa. Excitable needs to stay clear. And as you see, those gusts coming through, really throwing those boats around as they come up, getting ready for the tack.
They're all well clear of the mark.
Tiger holding themselves quite well there, protecting that inner corner, and then they'll bear down. Boat will settle a little bit, and they'll get ready. And Royal Perth will be looking to do the cover now. It's trying to get a hook underneath them, get themselves into a nice position for their kite run on the next leg.
They get ready for the hoist and see how we go. We see just the right of screen there, we can see Rhythm certainly got a good run. They're on their way down. Royal Perth 1 sailing, electing to go over the top of the Elliott. And the kites up and away. And Tiger, I think, is elected jibe out to the middle.
Jibe set. Out into the middle, get a bit of separation away from Royal Perth. Oh, there we go. Powered up, trying to catch that gust. There they go. So point the nose down a little bit, which is always a bit of a fight once the kite starts to fill.
I think the breeze has changed a little bit of angle too, Warren. A lot of the boats coming through the finish, Mark 4. They're coming around there, and they're almost like to go directly down to Mark 1, where before it was jibed to the centre of the river. So I think if they get the boat up cleanly, it'll save them a couple of jibes as they approach Mark 1.
As we start looking at the moment, on your screen just then, it was the last mark of the course, so that's our upwind mark. About 5-6 boats all up there having a bit of fun. So while we've got a little bit of downtime, let's just run through our winners on that lap. So Rhythm was the biggest winner so far, so they moved from 4th up into 1st place. Then we had Tiger there, jumped from 2 places up into 3rd. Unfortunately, Excitable with their bottom mark. That's how easy it is in this sport. A little bit of mishap down on the bottom mark. They dropped from 5th down to 2nd. And Turkish Delight was just been overrun there as they came across the start-finish line down into 2nd place. So at the moment we're looking at Rhythm in front and then Turkish Delight, followed by Tiger, then RPYC 6, so that's the first of the Elliots, the Red Bow, number 1, and then Excitable of the Bull 7000 of Jeff Oliver in 5th place.
Yeah, we see the Vipers rounding the Mark 4, coming up for their 3rd lap. You see Rodney Burdo there with the white kite. And I think that's a boat with no name on the inside. So Rodney electing to jibe away, get out there and get some better pressure.
How do you think it goes psychologically for the Vipers and those boats sitting at the back constantly for 4 laps chasing down the leaders, and vice versa, the leaders up the front in the slower boats, knowing that these power machines are chasing you down the whole race?
Well, I think it's a case that there's always a boat to catch if you're coming from behind. Always someone to chase. There we go.
And there's always someone to beat too, isn't there? You've got 2 boats going in the same direction, you've got a race on.
Yes, that's correct.
As
when you're in lead, you're just trying to get out of the way.
There we go. 271, unfortunately, having a little bit of a problem there. So that's boat with no name.
Boat with no name.
If they don't get themselves sorted out, that boat on the mooring's going to... Oh, that's nice and close. They saved that very well. The rudder's out of the water, so they've got absolutely no steerage on that boat at the moment.
Yeah, that's a keel flash, Warren.
Everyone over the side.
Giving us a keel flash.
Oh, 279's doing the opposite, right in front of them as well.
Yep.
So that's hissing in the wind. So one on port, one on starboard, both lying over. They're a bit tired. They're going for a bit of a sleep. The bottom of the keel on 271 looks like it needed a bit of a clean.
Yeah, we're having a bit of fun there trying to get that back upright.
What do you do in that circumstance? You drop the sheet, drop the halyard, and just pull it all back in.
Yeah, they'll get it running. They'll pull that back up again before they get in the race with Turnham Green for the prawning prize. They're keeping it out of the water.
Well, top credit to them. There they go. They only half dropped it. They hoisted it back up. And away they go again. So, yep, a little bit of excitement there. And for Rhythm as well, they've come back across onto the northern side, on the southern side of the creek, and right in amongst all of that as well. So they were a little bit more under control. They were heading up on upwind.
Yeah, we can see the boats here coming out of the bottom marker, electing to sail back up across the course with all of the boats under spinnaker bearing down on them. So, bit of courage and, hang on to your line as you're coming out of there. Yeah, another traffic one of the Vipers electing to head upwind there.
So we've got a nice little flotilla of powerboats trying to zigzag their way through. You can imagine all the cursing that's going on, and bloody yachties, and then the yachties going, bloody powerboaties.
Yeah, it's all part of the fun of sailing in the Reach.
That's what we love about this event, isn't it? Every year we come down, you have the ferries coming through, the powerboats coming through. They're doing the big zipper zigzag line, towing a tender. Hopefully they've spotted that so they don't sail over their tow line.
Yes. So we can see, Turkish Delight here make his way back across the river. He's going to sail into a bit of action shortly. So still doing well, but he's certainly falling behind Rhythm, who's well up the fleet.
Yes, Rhythm's almost at the top mark again on their second lap.
Yeah, we see RP1 and on the far side there, RP1 working. We see how when they come back and they cross with Turkish Delight.
And there's Turkish Delight just crossing in front of Royal Perth 1 on the Elliott 7. So the red bow, we have 2 of those boats out there, the grey and the red. Both come down from Royal Perth Yacht Club for this event, which is great.
And we'll see here shortly, we see the RP1 coming across on starboard with the rest of the fleet bearing down on them. We'll see them all come through there. We have RP5 just crossing in behind them. And a
217 there, having to 272. Sorry, having to tack because they had right of way.
Still to breeze. They'd put still to breeze around. We've got Helder Skelter in the background.
And excitable right in the back of the ground. And what you're going to see very shortly is 655 Rhythm. That's
Rhythm.
last year's winner. Just popping their kite right in front of them at the moment. On their next leg down. So we're about half a lap behind. Rhythm has really pushed and done some really big gains on that last downwind leg. So chasing those bullets that you see, the big dark wind right in front of them at the moment. They're going to try and get into that. And that's when all the action starts to happen for these crews with those boats.
Yeah, so there they are jibing. Going to head out in the centre. There's quite a bit of breeze out there. So if they get that clean. So they've sorted it out.
Just to the left of screen there it comes in the wake of the other boat. And they're right in the middle of it now, and you see the boat pick up into another gear.
Yeah, they're planning along quite nicely there. And I'll have to jibe back shortly. Here we are preparing, coming back for the jibe back. Heads down. Keep that boom up and out of the way.
The helm hard over there, trying to get the nose back down. Get the kite filled up. There it goes.
Sorting out, planing away towards Mark 1.
Which is right in front of them there on the left-hand side of screen.
Having a good run here. Yeah, so Nick Gray and his team doing a great job here. They've extended their lead. They're making way down and they're catching. They'll be there with 10 degrees. So we have Turkish Delight sitting in second spot at the moment. But with hero Scotty Glasgow not hot on his heels in the Viper.
And they've made some huge gains. So the last lap for Scotty Glasgow on Hero, they were in 8th place. They're now looking at staring down the barrel of 3rd or 4th. So that's 4 spots. And just hearing from the race crew at the moment, we did have a retirement of Melee. So that was 772, the Melgers. Unfortunately, one of the young sailors has had a little bit of a mishap and got a little injury. So they've retired and come in, and the team are dealing with them. So our thoughts go out to them at the moment. As we come back to the action of Excitable crossing through, looks like they might have a wine glass.
Yeah, rhythm there at the bottom mark with a good strong lead. Round the bottom mark, making their way up on their last lap. And we swing back to left the screen. We see the rest of the boats making their way down. Here a great shot here was Excitable with the blue kite. We've got RP1 with the red kite there. They're about to jibe, make their way down towards...
that looks like a very wet kite. Well, we might have missed something there.
Yep, getting the laundry done. They haven't quite made it to Mark 1 yet, so there'll be another jibe for those guys. We can see Excitable inside them. A good run there from Tiger. You can see the spinnaker pole. They're having a great run down to the mark.
So we're sticking with the Elliott 7 of RP1 at the moment. So the red kite, the red tip and the red bow. They're right in the centre of your screen at the moment on a starboard tack with a full kite cruising across. They're going to have to do another jibe, so where the wind crosses the back of the boat.
Yeah, we can see it's one of the Vipers there scooting across. Top of the screen.
Oh, there we go. Yep. And... we have a touch. There we go. There's another contender for our wipeout of the week.
Protopia.
So Protopia again. Someone managed to kind of stay dry.
Yeah, so a VX1, that's what the bulb looks like on the bottom of the keel. We'll stand on there so we can get the boat to stand upright.
You're going to want a few more people, a few more friends to jump on. There comes another crewmate. Over they climb. There we go. Now the weight starts to tip back and then jump back in before it gets upright.
Yeah, got themselves sorted and ready to go again.
So Protopia was in 15th place. However, we love these people joining us. They give us countless amount of entertainment.
Wouldn't be the same. Wouldn't be the same without it.
Oh, this is what we come to this event for, isn't it?
But they're not giving up. They're hoisting again, and they'll give it another crack.
So as we got the boats coming down at the moment, so you had the blue kite and the yellow kite, plus a boat coming upwind. So the downwind kites have all got to give way to the upwind boat.
Yeah, we've got Blackbird on screen here having a good run. Got their jibe into the marker.
So that's Liam Padru.
Yep, we've got Bakaya at the mark leading
279, so that'll be hissing in the wind of Brett Sharp on one of the Vipers. So this is now the first of the Viper fleet coming in behind. Or Steel Debris was just in front, sorry, and then the next couple of Vipers as they sit there and do a bit of surfing in behind Akaya, trying to hang on for dear life with that blue kite and try not to do a repeat of what Protopia did.
Oh, yeah. Protopia's right behind him, and
they've kept that mast out of the water. Well done. And here comes 282. Blackbird zipping along behind them, all the weight over the back. Oh, Protopia's over again.
Protopia's at it again, yeah. So it's now just keep a tally of how many times they give us the keel flash there, Warren. So Turkish Delight in the background there, thinking that's not us. See, apart from the bowl outs, we've got all of the boats working upwind here together. Come around it.
Yeah, thanks for that, Peter. We're just chatting off radio at the moment, or off microphone. We've got the cross coming up to Sport FM very shortly, and we're going to interrupt the cricket and get a few more fans.
So we've got Turkish Delight running in second place. Tigers having a good run here. You can see them mid-screen there. They're working their way back up, dodging the traffic.
All right, so wonderful statisticians sitting over there of Cyril and Clem again have just handed me the latest. So lap 3 on race number 2 for Rumble in the Reach, the 15th edition in 2025 for East Fremantle Yacht Club. We are looking at, in first place, is Rhythm. So they were able to hold first in that last lap, followed by Turkish Delight in second place. Then we had the biggest winner of that round, which was Hero of Scott Glasden. They moved from 8th up to 3rd. So a nice big 5 place. That's really showing the skill there of the Viper crew. 4th was going to be Steel the Breeze, followed by 5th, which is the Royal Perth Yacht Club 6 boat, which is boat number 1. And then 6th place is Tiger, so our symmetrical friends. And it looks like you got a little bit of information on this.
271 boat with no name, just on screen there. We've had our first boat, Rhythm, cross the finish line, so our first place get a Rhythm.
You can see them finishing, and we got a nice little round of applause. And the next nearest boat behind them is either Turkish Delight. No, they're still out in the middle of the river. So who's that?
We've got the Viper coming in here.
Who's a Viper?
I think it's Hero, Scotty Glasgow, 217.
They did an excellent job on that last wrap. They actually came from 8th up to 3rd, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was them. 217 it is. Scotty Glasgow on the Viper has jumped all the way up into second place.
From 0 to Hero. And
so he started in 11th on the team, so he ran it on first lap in 10th place, up into 8th, then into 3rd, and has now been able to overtake Turkish Delight, who's having all kinds of trouble out in the middle of the river there.
Yeah, we can see they're just sort of settling down. There's a lot of gusts. We can see 272 there.
Really struggling to get to that mark, aren't they?
Yeah, they're struggling with it. With that gusty wind. Still to breeze. Just trying to hold it up. They're going to have to come back. They're going to have to tack.
They're going to have to throw in. Here we go. 272 throwing in a real quick tack, trying to get across in front of Turkish Delight.
Yeah, they've
hold out their third place.
Just done it.
They've got it.
RP1 there is going to have to go behind Turkish Delight.
Bit of coffin corner action there, unfortunately. They'll have to duck behind Turkish Delight. Yep. There goes Royal Perth, as long as Turkish doesn't touch.
Turkish had to shoot that.
There they go.
They're around. get it down, get across the finish line.
A little bit of boat speed. Unfortunately, if they don't hold their height at the moment, they're going to have to do another quick tack. 2.72 crosses the line in third place, so that is Steel to Breeze with John Park.
Turkish Delight coming across for third, getting good round up there, keeping RP1 on their toes.
Yes, so Turkish Delight in fourth place, followed by RP1, which is Royal Perth Yacht Club Elliott 7, number 1 of Anton Junovic, coming through in fifth place.
Yeah, with a little bit of fun behind them at that top mark. We've had Excitable is rounded up and stalled. And then we've got Excitable also stalled. And have to come back, tack to get around that marker. Which you can see they're struggling to get around. And you've got RP5 coming in the outside. And so they're around just. They're still struggling there on Tiger. They've got to keep it up. They've got to get up to that finish mark. At the moment, they're below screen. They might not get there. They've surrendered that position to Excitable. And Rodney Burdo is probably going to blast along the outside. Yep. And Rodney Burdo has snuck through at about first spot. The Elliott. Yep. Oh, this is going to be exciting. Oh. Yeah, they've had to tack. They've had to tack. There'll be a protest flag for that one. So RP5 coming back to finish, and Tiger is going to have to do a couple of penalty turns.
So Warren's just had to sneak off to make another cross to 91.3 Sport FM to keep them updated on the rumble in the reach here in East Fremantle's second race. It's terrific that they're able to keep up to speed amongst the cricket and the other sports that they cover. That shows how important, Peter, this rumble in the reach is to the sporting public at large.
That's right. Welcome back, Ed. I was seeing Tiger on screen here having a great run until the last marker where they misread the gust, stalled, gave away 3 positions, came back, stalled and tacked again and had to do a penalty turn, giving away another 3 positions. So,
well, you notice from that drone picture the Tiger there, the bulb underneath the boat, and they've managed to keep that underneath the boat this afternoon. But Gavin Taylor, he comes up from Netherlands Yacht Club. He started out when he was very young in the Sabos and sailed 16-foot skiffs. The yacht was built in Sydney in 1996, so it's been around for a while. But, yeah, they had an unfortunate end there at the last mark.
Yes. We see still got a couple of boats racing. We can see Protopia just coming up into a gust there. They're still making their way but to the finish.
Protopia has had a really difficult second race. Protopia, I think they've been in a couple of roundups. I saw them on the side of the boat at one stage on the keel. I saw the dock over the boat at one stage there. Don McCracken.
Yeah, we can certainly see McCracken from the position he was in.
Well, it probably goes back, Peter, to their days in 2003 when they sailed in the America's Cup together in Auckland, New Zealand on One World, and they were mid-bowman and bowman, and so they've had times together when they've been at the front of the boat when things have gone wrong and they've had to work together, and this afternoon they're probably recounting some of those times back in 2003.
Oh, I think they are. I think they certainly had to work together to recover, and they've given it plenty of room here, unless they're doing it. I think they've done. Some of these guys are doing more laps than they should.
Well, you'd think after all this time they'd be getting this sort of calculated correctly, but unless some of the others have cut the corner, and I don't think that's the case from what I've seen, but I think these guys are sort of like doing an extra bit of sailing. Maybe they want the practice or something like that. But this trophy that they give out for, I think the Protopia is pretty much in the lead on that, I would say, at this stage.
Yes, they're doing a great job. I counted 5 keel flashes so far from Potopia. I think, great race 2. Lovely view of the club there from the air. Fantastic sitting on the balcony there watching this unfold directly in front. You should be down here, Ed. It's the place to be.
Yeah, there's that coming into the finish now there.
I think that's a boat with no name, 271.
Kim Lunig, that is. Yeah, Kim Lunig.
Boat with no name. They're, I think they're either doing a practice lap or they've lost count.
Having a bit of a warm-up. Okay. So, Peter Kennington, another great race, but Rhythm, who were protested out and in race number 1, have had a terrific second race here this afternoon in the Rumble in the Reach, and they really outstripped all their competition to come home very strongly.
Oh, look, they just did a fantastic job. Very, very clean jibes. They picked the shifts out here. Took a great run down off the start here. Everybody else was heading out to the middle of the river, chasing the gusts. But I think the little shifty breeze, they caught one down towards the moorings, and that took them in front. So great view. You can see the breeze picked up here at the river. Some good strong gusts, 20 plus knots at the moment, Ed.
Yeah, well, look, it's all to play for in the third race of this afternoon. Whilst we're just waiting for the last boat to come home, we'll do some calculation, listeners and viewers. We'll bring you the results of race 2 when we come back, and we'll also do some calculations and start to get an idea of which boats to watch out for in the very important race 3, because it's cumulative points, and we'll be back after a break. But in the meantime, have a listen to a couple of the skippers at the briefing last night talking about their chances this afternoon. And the first up is Guy Skinner, and we haven't seen much of Guy Skinner this afternoon, so let's have a listen to what he thought he would do. You're back in the Rumble in the Reach for the 15th. You missed a few. You've had a look at the handicap. What do you think of your chances?
I think our handicap's probably a bit stiff. The boat's not really suitable for these sort of racing. We've got a very big kite, and it's a bit of a heavier boat compared to the other boats. And what happens is we end up spending about half the leg getting the spinnaker up, and then we get a nice little gust that takes us screaming into a pretty bad overlap situation, and we then have to work out how to get the kite down and nice and tight and worry about our rights. So it's going to be a bit of fun out there. I've got a few bigger people than normal on the boat, purely to try and handle the kite and see how we go.
Brett Sharp, you're sailing hissing in the wind. It's a Viper.
Yep.
You've had a look at the handicap for the Rumble in the Reach. What do you think of your chances?
You always got to like your chances down here at East Fremantle. I think, look, we gave 4 minutes to the winners last year. When I look back at what we had, there's looking pretty similar numbers, stronger forecast, so Viper loves to get up and go. They're a fast boat. We're mainly going to be focused on racing the other Vipers. We like to travel around and have a bit of fun, but yeah, I'd say enjoy chasing down a Melgers this year would be a goal, because we didn't get to see them last year. They were off in the distance, so that's the goal.
Who's sailing with you?
Rob Senior is actually steering the boat, so Rob and I share the duties there. He's got the privilege of trying to get around the Cairns here tomorrow, and then we've got Steve Oliver up front. So a couple of team have a go.
Protopia VX1, Alan Smith. You're in the Rumble. You've been in it before. You've been a winner, but on other boats. You've had a look at your handicap on your VX1. What do you think of your chances?
Ed, with that handicap, probably not too great, but it's a great event to come down here and sail in this stretch of water, and it's we'll do our best and get around the course. We're sailing just 2 of us, so that'll be a challenge, and it'll be fun. Protopia means as long as tomorrow's a bit better than yesterday, so that's where the name comes from.
Why have you bought in these VX1s? Why didn't you just go with the Viper?
Oh, it's a bit of flexibility, Ed. That you can sail 2 up instead of 3, and they're a shorter rig, a lot less sail area, and I think for Perth conditions they're probably pretty appropriate. You can still tip them out and tip them over, so we might be up for the prize for the biggest wipeout. But yeah, they're sort of probably a little more flexibility as far as finding other people to go sailing with you.
VX1s are basically a 29er with a keel. One design, we have ourselves one rope to pull the kite up and down, one spinnaker sheet, self-tacking jib. Haven't raced against anyone else other than some of the bigger yachts in the club racing at Freshie, so looking forward to racing against the sports boats and specifically the Vipers. We think we're slower than the Vipers, so it will be interesting starting behind them, but we'll see. And then the next big event for us three VX1s is Durigat Bay. Looking forward to it.
Maybe we can start talking. Well, welcome back, and we're approaching the third race of this wonderful Rumble in the Reach here at East Fremantle Yacht Club. It is the 15th Rumble in the Reach, and we've had two very exciting races. The conditions have been fairly benign, actually, and it's not a really strong sea breeze. Probably 13 knots is about it. The VX1s have given us a great deal of pleasure seeing them upside down. And Alan Smith and the doc have had a wonderful afternoon and entertained us with all of that. And we have got two races, and as we approach the third, we'd like to be in a position to be able to maybe think about who might be in amongst the places as we get into race 3 and which boats we probably should look out for. And our intrepid reporter Warren Erasmus is heading down to the jetty. He writes for the Weekend Western once a month, and he commentates with me on 91.3 Sport FM. And he'll be down on the jetty, and we'll be able to get him to update us with the starters results from race 2, and then we'll have some cumulative results from the two races.
Signal good.
And then we shall be ready for race number 3. So let's cross to Warren Erasmus down on the jetty to update us firstly on race 2 and then the
thanks,
cumulative
Ed
results.
and Peter. We've just had race number 2 at the East Fremantle Yacht Club's Rumble in the Reach 2025. I'm now looking at the cumulative results hot off the press. So we have, doing some quick sums in the head, we have Turkish Delight sitting on 8 points in first place. So that's 2/4 overall. Then second, my thumb is covering up, which is down here with Hero, which was the big winner out of the last race of Scott Glaston. They are sitting on a cumulative 9. Then we have a tie for third. So we have Get In Your Bowl, which is Rob Bordeaux on the Viper. They're sitting on 10 points, along with, Excitable of Jeff Oliver on the Bull 7000. Then we have a tie in 4th and 5th place as well of the Royal Perth Yacht Club boat number 1 and the Royal Perth Yacht Club boat number 5. So there's a bit of bragging rights going on with Anton Jonovic and John Bucknell as we hear the horn go, ready for race number 3. It's all to play for at the Rumble in the Reach. So Turkish Delight in first, followed by Hero of Scott Glasgow in second, and a tie for third between Excitable and Get In Your Bowl of Rob Bordeaux. So back to you up there on the balcony.
Thanks, Warren. Good to see the local boat sitting out there in front. Just been consistent, I think. Not winning, but just sitting in those 4th and 5th places. So Turkish Delight, good to see. But also not far behind, we've got Hero. Scotty Glaskin had a really good run in that race. If he pulls another one out of the bag, he can jump to the front straight away. Also not far from that, You Get In The Bowl, Roddy Burdo and Excitable Jeff Oliver, both sitting on equal points there. It'll be down to the wire with this last race because, as we can see, it doesn't take much. Now we have on screen Bruce Wilkinson, Turkish Delight. He's away. Kite up, see where they elect to go. So with this breeze at the moment, they can pick up one of those gusts, run down, probably to take it on the outside of the moorings, and they'll probably have to jibe back, I think, looking at that angle. Here we have an also lining up, ready to go. Circulating around, ready to start. Can't see much breeze there, but there's certainly some bullets out there, Ed, coming across the course. RP1, on Elliott 7 is one of the contenders there. Excitable sitting equal third spot, only a point or so out of it.
So they're two of the contenders that we need to keep an eye on, and the cameramen are on RP YC1 with Anton Jukonovic as we cross back to Turkish Delight, who currently is in first place in the regatta. and we'll just stick with Turkish Delight. They've were the first off in race number 3, and they're making their way downriver towards, or upriver really, up towards mark number 1. So Turkish Delight needs to get a bit of a pace on and stay ahead of the impending chasing pack as they head up towards mark 1. We're still on to...
Yeah, I think being consistent. So you got Mal, John, and Mick on board there, and Nick Holly sailed with Bruce for 15 or so years. They'll be a pretty consistent team there, and they're sort of getting around, coming up there to mark number 1. First lap of 4.
And the jibe imminent here, Peter, and let's watch as we get them to go around mark number 1, and here it comes now. And they get a bit of pace on and get ahead. That's the name of the game at the moment. Beautiful, clean conditions for them, not lots of boats around them. They did a good job on that jibe and making their way north across the river to mark number 2.
Yeah, I think
we cross back now to the impending chasing black, and now we're back at those that have left the start line, and we can see there the Bull, of course, RPYC1, Archaea's there, and they're all in together and not getting that clean air that the Turkish Delight got off the line.
No, RP1's had a bit of trouble with their kite there, so they're sort of sailing up position. Give Tiger a hard time. Tiger's got a good run. These guys were all banded up together on the last race and chased each other's tails for basically the whole of race 2 there. So they're making their way down. Good clean spot, but so
the Tiger, is it coming up?
Yeah, Tiger
coming up to the mark here.
Well, they're got to go on the left, so Excitable's around. They've just got to get the jibe in and have some right. So
now we've crossed to Turkish Delight at the head of the course, and it gives you some perspective as to how far in front they are at the moment. But bear in mind they're perceived as a slower boat, so they've got to get some distance.
Yeah, it was slower, but with these gusts, I think that'll help the boat be a bit more consistent. We can see the mark on the top right-hand side of the screen, but the other boats working their way down. We've got the Royal Perth Elliott sort of coming through, decided to opt through the moorings, go a bit wider. They're about to jibe and see if they get a cleaner run with a bit more pace into that bottom mark.
Well, I think that's youth, isn't it? Anton Jukanovic, he's a young man. And he's taken that wider angle to try and pick up the speed. I guess as the breeze has lightened off a little bit, this Elliott may like a little bit of a higher angle, but maybe that was a bit of overdoing the thing there, Peter, I reckon.
Well, they're approaching with speed. We can see them on the top of the screen there, approaching with good speed. The other guys have elected to drop early, so he's coming there with good pace, so he'll come right back into him. He'll probably be ahead of Akaya there as he comes into the marker, as long as they get a clean drop, not like the previous one. But Akaya's having enough trouble getting theirs down as it is. Tiger's around clean.
And RPC1 pushed wide as a result of that wide jibe that they did further back, but it's all come back to bite them a little bit.
They're just having trouble getting that spinnaker down. I think the plan was good, but the execution at the end wasn't so flash.
So the 3 chasers have really caught up on Turkish Delight, and we see Turkish Delight on the screen right now, and they're clear, but in real time on the water, there has been a gain by the Tiger and the other boat chasing it down there at the moment.
Yeah, we can see here, but Bruce is coming across. There's a bit of pressure coming on the boat now. You can see him heeling over. All the guys are there getting the best they can. The others have had to tack on the shore there, so they've got to come back out where Bruce is going to have a good clear run with the pressure coming down on him. We can't quite see it off screen, but it was also got the ferry coming down to throw a spanner in the works for some of the vessels as well. But Bruce should be able to hold that angle.
So the ferry that Peter Kennington's talking about is easily seen on the screen now. The ferry will have right of way over the yachts, so the yachts will need to work out their attack on the ferry, so to speak. Although the ferry drivers are very, very good to the yachties, it's important to make sure they have safe passage through this shared bit of water.
Yeah, we can see on the screen there a couple of boats have gotten through. Tiger is probably going to have to tack. I think they'd be smart if they did tack, and well, they're getting a bit of a lift there looking at that. So maybe they'll continue across the back of the boat there into the middle of the river and get some good breeze. And we can see here we come, Turkish Delight there just tacking, coming out of the shallows, coming back into to sail into the breeze up towards Mark 3.
And while we follow all of this, Peter Kennington, we don't know what's happening as we look at our screens to Hero and You Get in the Bowl, because they started a little later than the others, and these boats at the front of the fleet, our cumulative results are looking good. We've had a good eye on them, but amongst it all, back in the middle of the fleet, Hero and You Get in the Bowl, they're making their way and hopefully making a gain on the leading boat. So we're back to Turkish Delight now, the leader at the moment, and we're in leg number 3, leg number 1.
This is leg number 1.
Leg number 1.
I know we have on Heroes not quite doing themselves justice. There was a bit of a keel flash. There's Scotty climbing over to get on the keel and get the rest of it in. So they're shaking the laundry out into the moorings there.
Well, I think he's got his program sort of a little bit confused. He has a boat called Zero, and he called this one Hero because you go from zero to hero, but it seems like he's going from hero to zero this afternoon, Peter, as we've looked at him there.
At the moment, they're sort of lowering the kite and hauling in a fresh haul of... they got some crabs down there, I think.
I understand your idea to get some prawns for those that have been prawning this afternoon. They're out the back looking for some prawns for some of these guys. So amongst the trophies, there could be good guys to hang around at the end of the day, particularly if they're nice fresh prawns.
Yeah, that's right. They're good fresh river prawns. So that's certainly not going to hold his campaign. But we have Turkish Delight there sailing nice and clean, good fresh air. Coming up round the marker there, so they're at Mark 4, Mark 3.
And approaching the end of the first lap of 3.5.
Yeah, they're coming there and sort of coming behind them. They're having a good run, very consistent run. And we can't see it, but Tiger will come into screen in a while. You just see Tiger going across the back there. They're not far behind. But Turkish Delight, hopefully they can keep this consistency going and hold on.
So they're on cumulative 8, and their closest is Scott Glaskin in Hero, who we just saw having a not a good time of it on 9 points cumulative, and You Get in the Bowl on 10. So 3 points in it. They've just got to keep making some pace, and they are doing that. Yes,
they're being consistent. Royal Scotty Glaskin is about half a race course behind now. Now I'm not sure what this powerboat. We can see the rounding the marker, but there's a powerboat sort of giving a bit of a spectator run through the middle of the fleet there. We see on the right of screen, giving Bruce a hard time.
Well, what happens, I think, Peter, is they've come in amongst the yachts, seen how good this Rumble in the Reach regatta is, and they've come round to have a second look at it.
Yeah, that's probably it. Probably pull up to the jetty there and sit down and enjoy a beer and some cold prawns. But here we have the Vipers working away. You can see Rodney Burdo there on the top of the screen. He's going to have to tack shortly, coming to the shallows. We've got 141. Who's
Helter Skelter.
Helter Skelter, Luke Patterson. Yeah, he's top of the screen there. He's doing well. So here we have, not sure who that is in outside of Rod, but the Vipers have been very, very close together today, having quite a duel.
Well, Helter Skelter's not had a bad day. 9 and a 6, that's 15. They're not far outside the cumulative results. And probably the best of those VX1s when you look at it. There was 3 VX1s here, and Luke Patterson seems to have had the better of the 3.
Yep, we've just seen on the screen there, Protopia had to run around the back of Rodney Burdo's Viper. They're heading down Yeah, they'll have to tack and follow these guys as they're just clearing that mark on the shallow water. So Retopia sort of working the edge of that shallow bank, and they'll tack back. We have Ronnie's. You get in the bowl. They've tacked. We're all heading
to Mark 3. So when you think Turkish Delight is now at mark number 2 for the second time, and these guys are making to mark number 3 for the first time, Turkish Delight's got a nice lead.
Yeah, they've certainly got a good chance, but a few of these bullets coming across the water here will only take one good blast of air, and the Vipers will pick that up, and they can make up 100 or so metres in a half a lap. So they'll be there at the end.
The pictures we're getting out of the screen there of that northern shore is like something you see in New Zealand. It's like, it doesn't really, in reality, look like the Swan River and where we're at. It's quite strange, actually, but they're really focusing on this boat that they think. I think the drone drivers and the camera people have decided this is the winner.
Yes, I think with the eyes on Bruce. The rest of the group are watching the boats that will come into the screen shortly because they're all out vying for that wipeout trophy. We see Turkish Delight's tacking here to sort of making the best of it. They're being consistent.
And we just see in the corner at the back of Turkish Delight, we see Arkea with the yellow spinnaker, and we see Rhythm with the orange spinnaker there.
Rhythm's just recovered.
Yes, just recovered from yet another afternoon of wipeouts. There's been a few of them today.
Yeah, we see Turkish Delight certainly being consistent here, working their way. The slot's quite open on that jib, giving them plenty of power.
So we're now looking at mark number 2 there, where a number of the chasing pack are gathered over at that northern shore. They've moved that mark further to the east, making it a slightly longer course.
Yeah, so we can see Turkish Delight tacking. We've got Tiger, the Elliot, is just tacked as well. And heading behind them is RP1. They're sort of working their way up. With the grey kite there, I think is might be RP5, but they're well back. So there's Royal Perth coming to tack now off that northern shore, making their way up. Turkish Delight, we can see the difference here. There's Tiger, the blue boat, hot in pursuit. Behind them is RP1 and Turkish Delight having a very, very good, consistent race. They just have to keep it together and hang on. Still got a lap and a half to go, though, Ed.
You talk about Royal Perth Yacht Club 1 in the Elliot, the red Elliot that's had the red spinnaker this afternoon. It's really a youth team that's come down for this regatta. There are 6 Elliots at Royal Perth. They're owned by the club. And in his crew, Anton Janakovic, he's got Lachlan Hawkins, Tony Jones and Josh Till. They're a sort of different crew than usual because a number of their members are away and competing at different places. Anton Janakovic, if you don't know it, has a Rolex Sydney Hobart Race 1 under his belt at his tender age. He did his first rumble last year. Lachlan Hawkins is a dinghy sailor and he's done some ocean racing on Obsession. He's a shipwright, so we'll look for fantastic things off the water from Lachlan Hawkins. Tony Jones in RPYC1 is age 16. He's been sailing on windsurfers, he's sailing on lasers, and he's a very consummate basketballer as well. So these athletes these days, our yachting athletes, being fit and healthy, spend a lot of time in our sport and in other sports. And then Josh Till makes up the team. He's had a podium finish in lasers, and he's just returned from this year's World 505 championships in Adelaide. So when you look at the Royal Perth Yacht Club team, they're made up of some very skillful sailors. So just returning, Peter, to the screen, we've got the bull there. And while I've been going on about that Royal Perth Yacht Club team, who are still likely to get a podium finish here this afternoon, I think, we've got the bull in the picture.
Yeah, the bull's doing very well. They're also sitting up there. They're on equal third position, and they're having quite a run, actually. Doing a great job. Again, selling consistency, very consistently. And as we zoom back here, we'll see the distance to the rest of the fleet. We can see we got Tiger just sort of coming up, ready to attack. We got Turkish Delight rounding Mark number 4, coming up for their final lap, I believe. And then we've got Excitable sort of working up not far behind that. So the Excitables have got a great angle. They've made some ground on Tiger. And we'll see at this the marker of how much closer they can bring themselves to Turkish Delight.
Well, they're certainly closer than they were in leg number 1.
Yeah, we're sort of panning out with the drone now. We can see their Turkish Delight got their kite up and running. But here's the Hot in Pursuit, Excitable, and Tiger. So it's interesting to run with these guys as they head down the course, especially Tiger with that symmetrical kite. They've done really well to keep pace and show it to all the asymmetrical kite boats.
Excitable would have to put 2 boats between it and Turkish Delight to take out the trophy this afternoon. Turkish Delight have only won this once before.
Once before, yeah. So they've got a jibe in there. They're working their way down through the moorings now. We can see on the top right of screen. We come back looking up the river at the marker. We can see we've got Royal Perth. There's Turkish just coming off screen. They'll jibe shortly. Head down to the bottom of the course for the last time. But they've gone into the moorings and pressure's on because Excitable picked up a gust and got a better line. They're running straight down.
And there you can... There's
a Kaya.
Yeah.
And RP5 coming in hot on their tail. So there's good racing all around the course.
Yeah, well, RP5 have not had such a good a day as Royal Perth Yacht Club 1. But, yeah, it's certainly a little lighter in conditions now, as you can see on the water in the screenshots. So it hasn't been an absolutely howling sea breeze, but we've had a lot of tragedies. I mean, not tragedies really, but they're bad. Rhythm's retired now. Turnham Green's retired. Don't Panic's retired. We've lost quite a few boats this afternoon. Melee's retired. So there's been, although we started with 18, we're back to 14 this afternoon.
Yeah, we can see a Kaya there are just managing to hang on to it. So we've got the kite's nearly up, a couple of metres to go. Get that thing up. They're getting a bit zesty and got on the string a bit early, I think. But they're holding it together and making their way down with RP5 on the chase. But Akaya's picked themselves up a little gust and managed to recover. And they'll be catching up very shortly with RP1, who's made a bit of a mess of their jibe.
I think some of these crews, to be fair, are sailing fairly light this afternoon because of the forecast. The VX1s with only 2 on board. The Don't Panic came with 5 instead of 6. So some of the boats have been lightly crewed, and that's led to some of these roundups and incidents that we've seen on the water. Yeah. And the VX1s, to be fair, haven't raced in anger really since they've been in WA.
No, it's sort of the first we've seen of them here this year. Protopia's done, despite all efforts to win the Wipeout Trophy, they've done very well, sailing only 2 up. They've bowled out, but they haven't had the hands or the weight on board to give the best out of it. But when it's picked up a gust of breeze, it's been away. It's been certainly going well. But I think all eyes are down the bottom of the course with RP1 and the red spinnaker. They're having a bit of fun. Micaiah has settled down now. They're going to have to tighten up and head down to that bottom mark. Bit of traffic heading back towards them.
So we can see the 3 leaders at the top of the screen of this particular race with Turkish Delight, Tiger and RP1, with the red spinnaker heading to mark number 2.
Yeah, so Turkish Delight is sailing through the middle here. We've got RP5 just on the outside of passing them. There's Turkish Delight, our leader, who's still sailing strongly, but is going to have to tack out of the danger zone with a few boats still making their way down. There's plenty of action yet to be seen. There's another keel up over there, but yeah, there we go. Rodney Birdo sails around 272. So he's gone. Steel to Breeze is getting on the action, but they've recovered. It's very, very close there with Protopia.
Alan Smith and the dock in trouble again.
Yeah, they've managed to put the bow in at the moment. Over they go.
Well, that was going to happen, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah,
they have been consummate performers. They're in the water again.
They've certainly washed that spinnaker clean, let me tell you. They'll get it together. They'll get back on. That's a good thing about this sport. Well, the boats are a lot of fun. Bowl them out and stand them up and go back to it again.
At this stage, Don McCracken's wondered why he accepted Alan Smith's invitation to come sailing on the VX1 this afternoon.
Yeah, I think they'll be paying out on the third man when they get home.
Meanwhile, off screen on the northern shore, still Turkish Delight from the Tiger by about 50 metres, with the police boat keeping a close eye on proceedings over there.
Yes, make sure Bruce is not going too fast.
Yes. Well, he needs a speed gun on him. He's going so fast this afternoon.
Yep. Yeah, so there's still a lot of gust. He's got to make his way in here. There's a gust heading down towards the front of his boat. You'll see them. They'll sit flat and they'll heel over in a second when they get this gust. Tiger is tacked. You see Bruce is just about, the gust is about to hit the boat now.
And should the bull get ahead of them, we may see this come up in the screen, but it's pretty tight with Excitable there, isn't it?
Yeah, Excitable's come across, so they're in front of Tiger.
Yeah.
You can see them passing in the back there, so if they get the right run, but Bruce is tacked to cover, there's still plenty of room there. They've just got to hold it together and hopefully the gusts do the right thing. Because it's not over until that woman sings, is it, Ed?
No, yeah, exactly. But they're doing enough to stay ahead. They have to have 2 boats between them and get in front. It's not going to happen. Viewers, the Turkish Delight is going to win this regatta.
Yeah, as long as they can hold it together. The Excitable certainly putting the pressure on them, and Tiger is also coming up, so looks like they've got the last lap, and anything can happen. There we are, boats RP1 and RP5 very close together, with the other Melgers, Akaya, chasing along. The souped up
Elliot. The souped up Elliot with the one sails on it. The one sails on it.
Yeah, so 3 of them are having their own little duel. But we see the rest of the fleet getting good angles there coming out off the northern shore. And it can change all too dramatically for those who sail on the reach here. You 1 minute you're making it, the next minute you're knocked about. So it's just getting the best out of that. We can see the difference there with the right of the screen, the angle of the boat. I think it's, and then we've got RP1, RP5 is sailing down low. They're probably have to call water in that corner, but so they've almost been picked up. Almost been picked up by, I think it's a Kaya who's come across, who's now tacked away. Coming back looking for more air. With 3 Vipers hot on their tail. So it's starting to wind up. So we've got 3 Vipers chasing 3 Elliots. And then we've got Bruce Wilkinson on the far, who's you can't see on screen at the moment, but there's a bit of action. Things going to be exciting in the front. We can see Bruce Wilkinson, who's elected to run down to the marker without a spinnaker. Excitable is just about to take the lead. But here we are on screen with the 3 Elliots, and Ronnie Burdo, you get in the bowl, who's just stepped through. Breaking up the Elliott trio. There's a Viper coming through there on starboard, who's got to say, Kaya, you go back that way. So we've got 2 Vipers have broken up the Elliots there. We can see Ed rounding the mark for the top mark for the last time. A little exercise of rights there by a couple of vessels to get around. So here's Bruce Wilkinson coming down. They've elected not to fly a kite. So they've only got, and they've managed to hang on to Excitable, who's sort of powering away with their kite up. Bruce has probably done some math and so we don't need to risk the kite and any chaos that can happen. If we could just hang on to this spot, we'll be all right.
Lovely shot of the bull making their way across between mark number 1 and mark number 2 for the last time. They're fabulous to see that, and yeah.
If they get that away cleanly, they'll be looking to be in the lead for this last race. It's only short leg. Yeah, they're around, well clear of Turkish Delight. Yeah, 2 or 3 boat lengths in this, maybe 4. Yeah, at least 4. So Bruce is coming around now. I think they're playing it safe. Tiger won't be too far behind either. So they're round cleanly. So the bull working well with Turkish Light just behind them. Tiger around now. The bull going back into the breeze.
Yeah, and one of the contenders there, the Royal Perth Yacht Club Grey, Elliott 7 off the screen, has had a roundup. That's what the noise was in the background, but once again we're back to the bull. No, we're away from there now, and we're over to Akaya, back to the bull. There's the Excitable. Chloe back, local girl on board, and the Oliver family bring the boat up from Albany, and they missed last year. It's great to see them back in the rumble in the Reach this year.
Yeah, we can see the bow spread on Excitables sort of sticking well forward. Give an idea of anyone watching where the asymmetric spinnaker attaches to that.
And our ever-present stats people have got some data for us. As we're saying, Turkish Delight in front, Excitable in second place, and in third place is the Tiger, and fourth place is Royal Perth Yacht Club number 5, and then it comes number 5 is you get in the bowl, Rodney Berto. So he's making his move, Berto.
Yeah, we can see on the screen angles here. We've got Excitable tacked, and they were sitting well high. Turkish Delight tacked, and then Tiger is only half a boat length off the back. So Tiger's made quite a gain on both vessels here. So they're not out of it there either.
So only not long to go now, Peter.
Not long to go. We're sort of halfway to the marker. But as I said, till she's singing it over. So here we have Turkish Delight coming back, who's still behind Excitable. But it's going to be a close one with Tiger, who's on the edge of that breeze. It's a good breeze. They'll get a good run. They'll probably go behind Turkish Delight now. The bull is taking a cover. We're going to head back across to the breeze and make sure that Bruce doesn't get anything that we don't. So great job, Jeff Oliver and his team. Sort of had a great run this league.
Yep.
But still, Tiger is the charging through, doing a great job. We just see the difference in the angles of the boats there. Excitable powering away. They're moving up out of the shallows. They're heading towards the last mark, but they'll still have to put another 2 tacks in to get around. Bruce is probably going to opt to go a little bit wider to see if you can't pick up that mark in one, but we can see that ferry coming through there. It's going to make it a bit exciting for a few vessels. Rodney Burdo probably more so, who's running almost alongside. He's opted to tack away. But we can see Tiger is now in front of Bruce, but they're still going to have to put another couple of tacks in to get around that last marker.
Well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter here. It doesn't really matter for Turkish Delight because they only have to stay in this pack of 3 to take out the regatta.
That's it. That's why I think he opted not to put the kite up and just sort of hold position without making any errors. So they're holding together. Excitable will come round to win the race 3. We'll have Turkish Delight. Might have a good run here, but they'll be coming together with Tiger. So there's our leader, Excitable. Coming up, they'll make the finish, come through first. Breeze is playing havoc with the team behind them. With the Bruce and the Elliott struggling, but they're both going to have to attack again. But there's our winner, Excitable.
Of race number 3.
Race number 3.
Yep. And it's tight for 2nd and 3rd place.
Yeah, well, Rodney Burdo is right on the heel of Turkish Delight.
Yes, well, you see, he gets a 4th here. It's going to be interesting.
So they're around.
Simo.
There ain't much in it, but...
a round up.
Again, one round up from the Tiger. Rodney Burdo won't make those mistakes, but I think Turkish Delight is going to come through. They're holding it together.
And 2nd place will be the Tiger. Yeah.
So 2nd over the line there, Turkish, followed by the Tiger.
Well, they don't matter.
Well done, Bruce and team. Tiger through.
Yep. 3rd place.
Rodney Burdo.
He's through, Rodney.
Rodney's through. 2-on-6, but there we have it.
So who?
Team on the Turk. And the Tiger, they've had a great race. Good job there from the team on Tiger, Gavin Taylor and his team.
So by our rough calculations, Peter Kennington, that puts us with 10 points, Turkish Delight in 1st place for the regatta. And then in 2nd place on 11 points, the Albany team, Excitable in 2nd place. And in 3rd place, Rodney Berto coming home with a rush in race 3 with the 3rd place, putting them on to 13 points.
Yes, and we also have 279 who hissing in the wind. I think it was Hero is well back, so he's sort of out of the count. But a good close finish here with a few of the boats coming. Got their own little races, who they can chase and who they can beat across the line.
Well, whilst we're watching them come through, Peter, and finishing off their racing here, just a little bit about the winner in Turkish Delight. Bruce Wilkinson must be happy with his trip that he made to Turkey to get this boat all those years ago now. He becomes a second winner of the Rumble in the Reach. He sailed dinghies and keelboats for a long time. He's been in every Rumble of the Reach, so he has not missed one Rumble. On board, Nick Howlett sails with him, and he sailed on Turkish Delight from New 15 years ago, and he's another experienced hand on that boat. Mal McLeod, he sailed on a number of dinghy classes and more recently on an M27. He's been for 3 seasons with Bruce on the Turkish Delight. John Tissot on the main sheet, we know him. He's sailed on a fast 727, and he joined Turkish Delight 7 years ago. And last but not least, Mick Genie, the navigator and tactician, and he's been a regular crew member for 4 years. So we've got a crew here of regular sailors.
Very, very experienced crew. All sailed and managed their own boats and been competitive. Mel McLeod on the M27, he was on the team, the state champions a couple of times.
2 minutes and then I need that paper.
So he's, certainly no slouches on board there.
No, not at all. And very good to see Excitable come up. And I know when they arrived, they had to make a number of visits to a few chandleries after their recent sailing escapades at Coburn Sound and around the places. And it's a part of the perennial regatta here, the Rumble in the Reach, that we see them rig their boat either the night before or the morning of. And that crew that comes all the way up from Albany, once again, a crew that's actually sailed together over many years. The 2 sons that have sailed regularly on Excitable, his partner and wife was attending with them up here, and then and young Chloe back, who has been sailing with them for a number of years. So once again, another crew that sailed well over many years together.
Yeah, it's certainly sailing out of Princess Royal is no mean feat. Get a bit of breeze down there, so they've done well, and I think they've interpreted the winds of the Reach well and sailed well today. So good on Excitable. It's great job, Bruce. He's sort of been in and out of it. He's been here every year. They've done well.
And keeping that theme, if you go to You Get in the Bowl, and we identified that boat as a potential winner at the beginning of the day with Rodney Berto, he and his crew were selected to sail at the Moscow Olympics, and sailing, they didn't go. Australia didn't send a team, but those guys have been sailing together for a considerable number of years. So although we've seen some fancy sailors come in to this regatta this year, more so than ever before, we've had some fancy sailors bringing fancy boats down. It seems like the results of the afternoon suggest that either the handicappers had a win, or those teams that have been consistent with their crews over the years and have attended many of these rumbles have done better than the others.
Yeah, I think you're right. We could see in the last race, it's not who dares wins. It's quite often it's sailing consistency and getting your boat round with the least amount of drama makes all the difference.
And I wonder if Kelvin Ha from his team is sending Warren Erasmus with his roving cameraman down to the entrance where Turkish Delight will come in to their pen, because that would be a nice interview when they come in from the regatta.
Yeah.
And he's on the phone to 91.3 Sport FM at the moment, so he's everywhere, Warren. But that would make a great interview, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to hear that. It's all great to see all the participation from a number of places. So we've got as far away as Albany. We've got boats here from a number of boats from Royal Perth. We've got competitors from Freshwater Bay. But I was a bit surprised not to see anyone here from Fremantle. I don't know what's going on. Maybe maybe they're a bit scared of coming into the river and giving it a shot, but. Hopefully...
No, but look, it comes in waves. We've seen, Peter, over the years. We've seen it change. I noticed the large participation from Royal Freshwater Bay Yacht Clubs this year. And I suspect that that's because they are going to copy this event. So you've managed to bring your event, Peter Kennington, who was a founder of this event, listeners and viewers, and brought the event to East Fremantle from Fremantle. It seems like Peter's idea is now carrying further upriver to the bit of water down at Royal Freshwater Bay Yacht Club. So they were like visitors here this year.
Yeah, it's good to see the other visitors. As far as copying, I don't think you get a seat this close to the water with this much action, even around the corner. So good luck, but it'll be great to have another event for the sports boats. I think the sailors enjoy the competition. They enjoy the camaraderie. So if there was an event, it'd be great for them.
What's your opinion of the VX1s that we saw this afternoon? They're certainly flighty and fast, and they're on the edge all the time.
I think there's a lot of potential for them. They seem to go well. Even though we had, probably was it Protopia, sort of up sideways and upside down a number of times. That boat skipped along when the breeze blew. So I think there's a lot of future for the VX1s to do well. So here are the last part of the day. The boats making their way back into the pen and looking for some respite back at the bar.
They are, and they will be. But it's been a busy afternoon. It's been really busy this afternoon. And once again, we've had fabulous pictures from Kelvin Haar and the two monkeys.
Yes, it's great work by all the team to bring the event to the air and to the viewers. I look forward to pulling up the replays and sitting back and enjoying the show.
A number of young ones from here have been away at the Open Skiff Championships, and we're seeing some great results coming in from over there this afternoon while we've been here. So the club will be justifiably proud of all of that. No doubt that will come out in the announcements. Warren is already telling 91.3 Sport FM about all of that. And so here he is back again, and he's just off to do an interview.
It's also good, Ed, to see a number of younger sailors. So with Royal Perth, both the crews on those boats. I see some young people in the sport.
Yeah. Well, there has been an increased number of young people here this afternoon. That is very, very pleasing. They like to go fast, and those VX1s are going to attract young people into the sport. They're lightweight, on the edge, and that's what they want to do. They want to go fast. And I thought that Helter Skelter sailed well with Luke Patterson and his son. And once again, they've sailed together. They sailed in the Mirror Championships before, those two. And so when you sail with the same people all the time, it does improve how you actually get on.
Yes, unless it's a melee.
And then the Kilcullen family, the exception to the rule, because it is a mellow and it's an appropriately named boat. Yeah.
Yes,
So Peter, it seems at the moment that we're just looking at a beautiful picture on the screen right now of the boats making their way back to the pen, and we're hoping, listeners, that we'll be able to bring to you an interview of Turkish Delight's Bruce Wilkinson and the team. Warren Erasmus is heading down there with Richard and the microphone and all of the procedures. And we're just going to, for those at home, because we have had we've had so many views having a look at this afternoon that you wouldn't fit them anywhere near in the whole club grounds. That's how many people have been tuning in and out of this afternoon. So they get an opportunity to see the leader come in on the screen. So for them at home, this is a very important part of their afternoon's entertainment.
Absolutely. It's good for the local members to see this year's winner, Turkish Delight, Bruce Wilkinson, and his team.
He's going to that pen now.
He's coming to the pen there. They were sort of held up by a couple other vessels.
So let's anyway, talking about that interview, let's cross to Warren down on the jetty right now.
All right, thanks, Ed and Peter. I have provisional results in front of me, and I have to stress these are provisionals. We don't want to put the commentator's curse on our teams again. But for race number 3, we have Excitable that came in first place. Excellent move up the leaderboard by that team. We have second of Turkish Delight, and we have third of Tiger of Gavin Taylor on the Elliott 7. Closely followed in by the Get In Your Bowl and Hero. So provisionally, overall, we're looking at Turkish Delight comes out with 10 points overall with a win. Second place is Excitable on 11 points. And third place may be a tie between Hero of Scott Glasgow on the Viper of 217 and Get In Your Bowl of Rob Bordeaux on 216, coming in on 14 points overall. So stress again that is a provisional results, but looks like a win, easy and outright for Turkish Delight of Bruce Wilkinson and the team on the far 25. Back to you on the balcony.
Was Warren Erasmus down there giving us the boat coming into the pen. So hopefully we'll bring those interviews to you if we can get an interview when they come ashore. But for now, I think for now, Kelvin, while we wait for that interview, if it comes up, we just play a few sponsors' messages for a bit, do you think? Or should we wait for the interview? We're waiting for the... Oh, they're making their way out now. Okay, so you at home, you're very privileged. We're just waiting for that interview to come up. Have to tell you that while that's going on off screen, most of the boats have returned to their pen area, and they're getting ready to come up and enjoy the festivities and to celebrate the winners up here with us, where we've been all afternoon. We can see Helen Siriano making her way down the jetty, Peter Kennington, the starter, and the people that work behind the scenes down there. And there's Warren in his colourful shirt on the screen there. It's quite good he wears the colourful shirt. We can keep up with him. We know where he is. He's easy to spot. And he's trying to attract the attention of Bruce Wilkinson and to come forward and speak to Warren. Here we go. It's about imminent, folks, so stand by. And here's Warren now, the cameraman, and Kelvin Haas, two monkeys, bringing you what we believe to be the winner of the 15th Rumble in the Reach Regatta. And let's cross to Warren now. Here's Warren with Bruce.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have Bruce Wilkinson, winner of Turkish Delight, come in with a fourth and a second in the final race to take out the 2015 Rumble in the Reach from East Fremantle Yacht Club. A few words for you there, Bruce.
Well, I didn't realise that we were any better than about third overall, so I'm pleasantly surprised, and I thought we'd done pretty well because in spite of the fact that we shredded our spinnaker halyard in the second to last race and had to sail the last race without the spinnaker. Sorry, only the last couple of legs of the last race. So the last time we won this, the only other time we won it, we had the same thing happen. We sailed without a spinnaker for the last leg and ended up winning.
Nice little jeering there from the balcony. Well done, Bruce. And so it looks like a bit of a future in halyard making for the team and the crew.
Yeah, we've been doing a few running repairs lately, and it's the boat's 15 years old now, and it gets a hard life, that spinnaker headed, so we'll be replacing it this week.
Ready for next week? So more sailing in the future, obviously, with the team. How about you give a big shout out to your crew and list them all for us?
The guy on the left there is Mel McLeod. He does the jib and spinnaker. The guy next to him is John Tissett. He's the main sheet man. At the back is Mick Geeney. He's our navigator and tactician. And Nick Hollett is disappearing down the hatch there. He's our star man on the spinnaker and does it and jib. So Nick's been sailing with me for nearly 20 years, and he's a very talented sailor, and he was in demand. He had to turn down the job on Turnham Green to sail with us, but he's part of the family, so he gave us priority, so we're very fortunate.
Well, that's very lucky, because Turnham Green retired out of that last race after they went trawling, and they'll be sponsoring dinner tonight with the prawns that they found. But yes, so first place overall, 10 points. Second place was Excitable, winning the last race. They jumped up into 11 points overall, so pipped them at the post by 1 point. And then third looks like to be a tie between Get In Your Bowl of Rob Bordeaux and Hero of Scott Glasgow, so the Vipers. So the old boat of Turkish Delight has got a little bit more in it.
Well, I don't know about the old skipper. That's the main worry.
Looks like 2016 you're going to have to come back and defend the title.
2016?
2026, sorry.
26, yes, we'll be here.
Wonderful. All right, that's East Fremantle Yacht Club. Any final words for the sponsors, the crew, the volunteers, the other teammates? Commiserations?
Well, commiserations to the other crews, and thank you very much to all the sponsors and volunteers, without whom we couldn't have had this event. So they're the key to all these things.
Well said, as always, and thank you very much to Bruce Wilkinson and the Turkish Crew Delight, winners of the 2025 15th Annual East Fremantle Yacht Club's Rumble in the Reach. Back to you on the balcony.
So it only remains for us to say thank you very much for listening and watching this afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed it all. The East Fremantle Yacht Club are fabulous hosts. Peter Kennington, thanks for all your work, mate.
All right, Ed, thank you. Pleasure to be here again, as usual, and I'll be back.
Thanks, Warren Erasmus, for all your work, and thank you to our two statisticians, Clem Rogers and Cyril Eliopoulos, for all their work this afternoon. We'll sign off now, and we'll be back perhaps next year. Let's hope so.